是的。
哎，小剑圣沉默一下，
接了一个吼，剑圣这边顿时掉，直接被打死了。
对，被打死了。虽然没招转，但看一下 DS 这边一个强的位置，好像也100零分，开 B 对他也是砍死了。
哇，真的非常危险。
被扬了，牵手有没有队友的抬手？他有一个勾回来的一个他的 BKB 的萨满，但是正面4分好还是要砍死小小。
哎呦，小小没有买活
哎，
啊！
在这边一个枷锁拉住了发条，也要被砍死。这边 DS 给了一个拉长，效果非常好，他就建立一个无力斩，看一下能不能一个输出，给了一个作祟，大牛补一了一个，但正面4分好刚不住了，4分阵亡不能买。
这就是团战魔术师吗？
砍人，人马过来踩，找到蜘蛛蛋，发现一个钩是断了后排那个双让勇，
是的，
防不住了。紫毛一段太虚之一进场，应该是可以秒掉这边那个火女，神域也倒下。这波双人之后残影是吸住了蓝猫，蜘蛛上来被反身4分一个锤，但是一道月光在断崖，露娜直接给大
下。
哎，他的钩是正好勾到了火女，神域在后排赶紧给一个命运吃令。正面蜘蛛是开鼻子跟队友上来，但是好像后边残影吸入了4分，4分是一个残血顶出 ZBD 大招，还有神域是有一个壮之诺扣上来，但是第一时间打露娜也不太打得动。正面好像是紫毛被动手，有人能抬手吗？紫毛这个位置状态很残，是吃了一个青花水丸，不过没死。露娜给大招，虽然让蜘蛛咬死了这边的一个人马。沙王大招刺激战场，
地狱火在哪里？
地狱火下来给了一个真空拉墙。但是这波第一时间 IG 是没有人阵亡的，反正死之镰刀是给到了沙王。
是的，
沙王是一个残血，但是没有死。可是兔子是已经倒了，虚空假面这边一个大师照入2兄弟，沙王为了是刺虚空假面是刺到了他的大招里，这波危机溃败了。
还是要强留人吗？
强留人，真空拉一下，但是没有什么后续的东西吗？
是的，没杀王，没康。
老十一被一直打出一个触发黑洞，老十一阵亡，幽鬼也被切死。
来了，这波近身的一个原地 VT， 接一个饼干坐上，再加一个致命连接，但伤害似乎不太够啊，还是不太够了。打了一个先手，莫勇进来，中了一手 V， 潮汐跳 S 一下放大，大住3人，有没有后续的输出？剑圣该是斩了后排，蓝猫正面被云窝打大控制很足，但蓝猫自己也很肉，没死。哎，小小过来切入了，后排找默克一套 VT， 第一时间没死，反手一个莫勇，哎，被转死了。
老奶奶2枪带走，
蜘蛛再过来切蓝胖。蓝胖比较肉，顶了一波伤害，但是看对方人太多，还是放弃了。想要切后排，蓝猫先滚走。这里斯温一个锤到了小小，硬吃了一个斩。潮汐此时有大，一脚踩大，配合斯温的反手输出，然后再接拉，但中了一个致命连接。哦，剑圣还是先被秒掉。不过4个人都是超级残，感觉都要被收割。哎，带莫勇的一个切入，找蜘蛛拉住潮汐跟进毛接，斯温一锤，蜘蛛被秒。蜘蛛不在，找到了后排2个。有反野，直接 A 死一个后排的酱油术士，术士买活，蓝猫在进场拉，小小直接买活死吗？往前走了一下，第一时间没死，术士给了一个连，蓝猫还有蓝，再滚，残影撞死了小小，买活死。这里绿杖小小被蓝猫 A 杖拉着潮汐一个跳大跳住所有人，死问接锤，直接秒杀了沃老跟小小。正面团战老干爹已经是个溃败了，剑圣只能往回窜。
直接框大，然后帕克是在断后，
对，技能全交给军团了。军团虽然说挺肉的，但是感觉还是要死。正面大圣画圈，后排留住3个，拉希克超级残血，被帕克一个跳波带走，
一个波还波死了2个，
这教了好多技能杀这个老树，老树还在坚持，
所有技能全交给老树了，
甚至放出了大招过来反杀毒龙。这毒龙被拉希克 BKB 近身被带走，直接动大圣的手，大圣有盾，直接被打掉。
大圣站起来还有 BKB，
对，大圣起来之后用什么技能去留？拉希克在侧翼
给锤子了，
找到机会之后一个 T BKB 近身，骷髅王 BKB 顶大圣脸，大圣这里没有刚过，直接死了。找人找大牛一个决斗，萧瑟过来救，骷髅王在跟进，输出并不是很高，推到大牛。大牛先被击杀，拼掉了一个军团，骷髅王交命，命起来，大圣顶起 BKB， 双核开始输出，但是拉希克也还在，反锤了一下毒龙，拉希克跟踩，毒龙先阵亡，大圣再来打，跟骷髅王硬刚正面打出了 buff， 中了个锤子，被大圣一个卷握，没反出来死了。
骷髅王这一波最后是几百击却给他活生生让他刚住了，
大树一个劝退大招，
已经没
继续拆迁，歪嘴敲出了 GG。恭喜星辰2比0战胜老干爹，还是保持着隔离之后的一个不败战绩啊！
还剩10秒，还剩5秒。请验眼方禁用英雄。神谕者。
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to yet another day of the Dota Pro Circuit China in the lower division. Of course, 2 upper division matches later as well, but we are not here to talk about this one because we've got a banger right here, right now for you. LBZS versus CDEC, one of the top tier matchups in this division. I'm incredibly excited, Kips, and I have to assume that you are too.
Same, yeah, and I'm almost sad that I'm blocking up the Chinese gas here because her outfit is so classy. That is, I would have dressed up like that for this game, you know? Oh yeah, there we go. Look at that. Oh, don't look at that. Look at the players instead. That's who it's all about after all.
Exactly, right. Their faces up and running. We can see into their minds through their eyes. That's how webcams work, I'm sure.
Or at least into their living rooms, which are a good indication of the mind.
Yeah. Rooms or team house rooms, house gaming rooms, depending. But yeah, here we are, LBZS and CDEC, both of them actually in a interesting spot. Like we can take a very quick look at the standings here once again. Phoenix sitting up at the top spot of 5-0. Have yet to play either one of them, I believe. CDC and LBZS, 3-1, both of them, and funny enough, both of them lost 2-1 to Aster Arias. So this is a pretty decisive game here, all things considered. Magma also right on their heels with 3-2. So yeah, you definitely want to win this game if you want to have a shot at making it to the upper division.
Exactly. This is a game that's in a couple of weeks we're going to look back on it and be like, all right, this was the decider. Probably for the lower divisions. So what do we have on the board then? I see Nix's Acid Darkseer, so pretty aggressive off-lane combination, at least later on for CDEC. I think in lane it's going to be pretty passive, unless we're going to see another mid Darkseer, which has been cropping up from time to time in China.
It would seem to be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah. I've yet to see that, but I don't know, it would make sense to have the stocks here with the Nyx Assassin, just such a classic combo. Nyx, someone who can go forward here, is a bit tanky, has a lot of regen, so you can stick around in lane, you have a stun to work with, plus that extra DPS from the Iron Shell. So, they're gonna have to contend with an Oracle though, keeping whatever carry LBZS want to pick, is to keep them alive and keep them topped up. And not worry too much about that Caress.
As well as purging off both Ion Shells and purges from the Darkseer.
Oh, that too.
It's a pretty hard lane counter.
Yeah.
It's playing Darkseer versus Oracle is like playing a melee creep versus Oracle. You don't get to use any of your spells really, but at least you're very tanky.
Alright, we'll see. Some of these classic carries ban out. No Beastmaster ban just yet. So do you think the nerfs have taken him down enough?
I was watching some mid Beastmaster yesterday, I think from eHome in iLeague. I actually think that since he's not that tempting for the mid lane anymore, it probably means that he's sort of balanced right now.
Oh wow.
I think you can definitely still put him in the mid lane. There's a ton of matchups that he dominates. You can get real good value out of that Axis into Bootstrap build still. I also think that there's room to grow for these mid players to learn to use Beastmaster more effectively. XM yesterday, one of the reasons why eHome ultimately lost that map is, in my opinion, because he didn't use his Hawk to provide vision well enough for his team.
Yep.
So there's certainly reasons and options in the Beastmaster pick, but since it's not broken anymore, I doubt that people will pick it up as readily.
Well, that's ultimately that's where you want pretty much every hero to be in, right? Everyone has their niche, everyone is powerful in their own ways and can be used, but no one is broken that you absolutely have to ban or first pick him whenever you get the chance. Like, you don't want to be locked into any singular draft. You want to be banning heroes that the enemy team is really good at or that you really hate playing against, not because it's broken and literally too powerful.
And I think the bans in this game sort of reflect that as well, because Dark Willow and DK out first phase versus Abad and Doom. None of these heroes, I would say Doom and DK are in a very good place, both of them. But I wouldn't call them broken, necessarily. Though maybe opinions differ on that. And while we were talking about the way that the small patch has changed the game, we have got another couple of pickups. So Lion, I think Lion's still in a very good place as well. Morphling and then the Juggernaut into the Morph. Ooh.
That is, I mean, it's already a pretty decent Morph game, considering that you can turn into a Pango, you have extra mobility. You can turn into a Puck, you have extra mobility. And a bit of control from the silence as well. And then add the Juggernaut, where you can just get a free BKB. Again, it's always a bit, has to be a bit concerning, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I mean, they definitely needed a lot of damage out from their carry on LBZS, and the burst damage from a Juggernaut with the Omni Slash, with the Mini Slash later on, is going to be very important to fight up against that Morphling. Somebody who isn't too bothered by the wall as well, which a Juggernaut definitely is. You can just spin through that. But I don't think you've got necessarily an easy game ahead of you with the advantages that you give the Morphling as well. So maybe Beastmaster ban last year? I'm gonna be surprised, though it would put CDEC a bit low on magical damage, I think. No, it's the other BKB Piercer. LC is out.
Yeah.
LC is still in a very good place as well. I think the only thing that's saving her from being regarded as really broken is that she's a bit more of an acquired taste. Not everybody likes playing LC, not everybody is convinced of the utility of LC, and a lot of people are scared that if you don't duel enough people, then you don't get off the ground. I've seen, especially with this new Prestige attack, I've seen LCs with like 30 damage in the mid game be perfectly happy.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of pressure off of having to actually deal damage. It's enough to just get that, give that get out of jail free card to your friends, you know.
Yeah, just
even then,
be a mini BKB.
Yeah, even then, yeah, you have that BKB piercing disable from the duel, right? Sometimes it's not about you killing them, it's about locking down someone like a Morphling or whoever, right? So your team can whack away at them, or that they can't whack away at your team at the same time, right?
A teleporting Juggernaut.
It's the Mars making it all the way to last pick, so looks to be a mid lane Puck, which makes some sense. You want to have him in a good spot against this Morphling. It's the only real solution to have to jump in with the instant silence, try and prevent him from shifting. But maybe the idea is also to just have the Puck be strong and just roam around and get kills on the other heroes, you know, and just get it to a dominating position before the Morphling can really get that farm that it needs to become a menace in this game.
Yeah, well, Puck is not the strongest laner anymore right now, though. And I'm guessing that is going to be the Bloodseeker up against the Puck in the mid, and the Bloodseeker is going to, later on in the game, make it very hard for the Puck and the Pango to play around in the way that they want. If either of them gets ruptured, you're not going to get to play. The Juggernaut's going to get forced into spins in places where he doesn't want to, thanks to the AoE silence. And of course, Rupture is pierces his ability to just spin and run out as well. Decent pick out from CDEC on the end there. I do think that they're a little bit low on disables because of that. Like, Bloodseeker doesn't necessarily offer you any of that. And he's also not really a magical burst damage kind of hero, so I can imagine they're going to lack some damage in the early engagement as well.
Right, should be an interesting one for sure. Again, to the top teams in this division. I'm having a hard time imagining this be a 2-1 either way, so Should be in for some good Dota, regardless of what's happening here in this game number 1. But yeah, this Morphling pick, like, if it just seems to me that if the game goes on to a certain point, LBZS is just gonna have a very tough time winning this, even if the Juggernaut is farmed. It's just we keep talking about it, right? It's the white bread of carries, you know. It's hard to find an argument where it's like, oh yeah, the Juggernaut is amazing against this lineup because, but it's easy to find arguments why it's not. Like we said, against the Morphling in particular, just giving over the free magic immunity.
I mean, you're going to be in a good point versus the Morphling at some point. It's also very hard for the Morphling to really threaten you, but you really gotta get enough damage out first. Yeah. And there's also a couple of players where I'd say that the Juggernaut pickup is better. Like, for example, if your name is ILTW, I will happily support you playing Jug.
Oh yeah. See if they can engender that same kind of confidence. Whether Kips will end up being concerned.
Let's see. That's my secret drag and drop. I'm always concerned.
Yes, yes.
Especially for this lion here who's toying with death, or at least getting speared.
Yeah. That was sitting in a good enough angle. Beyond, and the Nyx on the other side, just also securing that other rune, so it's a 2-for-2 trade, and all is said and done.
And the Bloodseeker actually moving to the offlane, so this is mid Darkseer.
It is indeed. It's played by Blood, so it is a Blood person in the mid, either way.
Yeah, so they're regular mid laner. Oh, I see.
His name's Blood, yes.
It's early in the morning. But yeah, this puck is going to be rather annoyed by getting run down by these Ion Shell creeps under tower. You're ranged, you already don't want to be last sitting under tower, but a puck can't really burst waves fast enough compared to a Darkseer. And yeah. Darkseer is going to be farming the side camp earlier than you as well. You don't really get to do anything versus this. And this means that the Darkseer conveniently avoids this Oracle.
A lot of damage down bottom. Stun against Xiaofu, though, takes a lot of damage in turn. Still has Fairy Fire to work with and required now. So Bloodroid does come in. So into the south they go, just trading a bunch of regen here. And it's always tough against the Bloodseeker, but if you can bring him low enough that he's scared to actually hit creeps, yeah, then you can actually work with that.
Rough trade-off. I think Juggernaut is slightly better suited at laning versus him. Even though the Bloodseeker, of course, is very good versus melee because you have that spin to get out.
You really want him, look at that.
Later on.
No, that he's not fast enough to get away from this. It's just a level 1 spin, but it might just very well be enough for the first blood, not quite. Just slightly being healed by Xiaofu, but he gets the first blood before dying himself. That was on a knife's edge, but hey, worked out in the end. Missing a bunch of last hits, but money's money, I guess. For your
it is. And conflict means the Jug's not farming.
Some help as Xiaofu comes back. I think so. There we go. It's quite
Juggernaut in the lane is going to... I mean, mid lane, nothing's going to happen here, really. It's just going to be this, and the poor Puck is, even though he's not going to get actively harassed, is just going to have to bring himself more and more regen, or really secure those runes, because he's going to be taking so much damage from those creeps and those Ion Shells.
It's like playing against a DK, well, but worse, because you also have the creep wave pushing into you at all times. Alright, Lion. A bunch of damage, but stick charge is more than enough to keep him safe. I think so, but alright. Xiaofu, he really wants him, but only level 1 into the Purifying Flames. Not quite enough burst damage just yet. You'd imagine that he'd be able to solo kill Lion though once he gets that extra point.
Yeah, level 3 on Oracle is always such a big power spike.
Oh, lane. A whole lot that you can do to keep Bloods in inside this engagement area until you get the level 6 on Buck, though. Not sure about that rotation, probably just to secure a rune, which he didn't even do, because Nyx Assassin was able to swipe the bounty rune.
Nixed it.
That was very, very weird rotation here from Kaju, very uncharacteristic.
Is it uncharacteristic though? He's the hero, he wants to kill hero.
Yeah, but you literally can't, so...
That hasn't stopped him before. And if anyone thinks that this is Flame, by the way, both of them absolutely adore Katu for his... I don't even want to say aggression. Aggression is players who play forward. Katu has bloodlust. He is bloodthirsty.
There you go. It's helping out this time. Xiaofu, the one who was to swipe that kill. Oops, sorry. I thought he was getting away. And Oracle gets the last hit. All the time, you know. Very normal.
It is how it is. Blood's just cleaning up camps on the opposite side now. Once again, he's a Darkseer. He can do this way before his opponents can. Easy rotation. Now up towards Irving. I don't think... No.
It would have been nice if the spear wasn't there. If the stun could have come out from Nyx. You can make something happen when two of you are there. As playing really aggressively here with Katu coming in with the extra slows, body blocks. They want to give this one to Juggernaut if they can, but can't quite keep ahead of him. Katu. Actually, yeah, okay, he's the one getting it. Looked for a second like Jug was getting that last hit in, but not quite. Irving dies at the same time at top though, and okay, they're not even done yet down here beyond finishing off Xiaofu. A whole lot of wishing can do about it.
Wishing standing in for LBZS here, by the way. Also different stand-in than last week. LBZS is definitely searching on the carry front right now.
Yep. Last week it was a guy named Hayes.
Yeah, Hayes. I was like, it's something with an H. But I think Hafu is used to be a Hearthstone streamer.
Yeah. Ni hao.
Ni hao. It is so cute.
Pack. Yeah, and Nyx Assassin. Okay, that's a lot of damage here. The pool guy's on level 3, so Katu trying to swipe the last hit, but Xiaofu is still Oracle, so it's impossible. You do have the replay from the kill early up top. Irving just alone against 2. Gets aggressed on while the stuff is happening down bottom.
Yep. Underestimated the fact that the Nyx still had an ion shell on him from that blood rotation. I should probably just call him Darkseer because it's going to be confusing with the Bloodseeker as well.
Well, at least it's not Phoenix, Phoenix, and Phoenix in the same game.
Oh yeah. Pour one out for our Cryptic.
Oh man. By the way, if you're watching, if you have no idea what what we're talking about, then you should have paid more attention to what's happening here in the lower division. Shame on you. That's okay. That's a good start into the silence, into the hex, just to make sure. But Xiaofu's right there. Bit of a heal and the magic resist.
It's all about keeping his Juggernaut on his toes, though. And there's 3 Radiant Heroes bottom right now as well. He kept them occupied for another couple seconds, and that means you get to bother mid, among things.
Coil coming for cooldown just now, level 8 pack. Could become aggressive there as well, especially with that rotation in, perhaps. Mars also waiting to get active here, presumably. Now they're just securing this rune, or at least they're trying to, but it's spawning top, which is perfect. X at least is alright, Katu in a bit of trouble. He does get some help. The Iron Shell, well, he's dodging that damage for now. The Omnislash over, isolated on the line, doesn't want to give that over, so he dies, and so does Nyx. Katu falls in the middle of that too, but that's a decent enough trade. 2-for-1 support. Why not?
Yeah, LBZS will happily take that. These are mostly rune skirmishes. I think both of these teams are going to have a decently hard time pushing towers. For CDC, it's all going to come down to what kind of items the Darkseer is going to bring to his team. And over on the side of LBZS, should be puck rotations into Juggernaut moving on a tower with the Healing Ward.
Exactly what we're seeing right now. Beyond is in a lot of trouble here, just gets nuked down through the raindrops and everything. Just no chance whatsoever. Tons of burst here with Puck early on. And Irving still having a time of his life up top. I mean, he did die that one time, but beyond that, 60 last hits. 3 lane more or less. Get rotated on now though. Blood, another Iron Shell, maxed out. Irving is getting some help as well though. Zhao Fu aging at the perfect time. Bit of a nuke, bit of a loot here. Irving still takes a lot of damage here, but now being healed up. Not throughout the arena here, even though the waveform has been committed, so still didn't think that they'd be able to get a kill there. Oh, Puck finds a stack. That's quite nice.
Bye-bye. And both of the boss fours getting some extra levels up in mid.
Finally allowed to yap sort of lane a bit.
Yeah, but you see, that's not yap soaring.
No.
Yap soaring is when you're like, all right, you can go jungle now. You are going jungle mid lane.
Stun missing. Oracle for Zoracle here is that's actually enough to secure that kill with the long duration route that once was able to get out. So nicely done.
Very smooth. Surged Nyx is a menace.
Oh man, yeah. No getting away from that. But the immediate smoke rotation down bottom, catch you. Still not level 6 yet, I believe. But Puck is very much ready to go. The smoke breaks though, so beyond. He can't get away in time. The arcane rune card as well. The arena comes through, doesn't quite snap it, but of course not enough damage. But CDC, they want to fight this one. They want to get something in return, and they might find Irving, especially with that finger being used. But hey, Zhao Fu with the false promise to say, nope, you're not getting this kill anytime soon. Lion in a lot of trouble, gets burst down after getting a few spells out, but it's not enough against this Puck here. Arcane Rune still going strong. Another silence here. They nuke down the Nyx assassin, Zhao Fu. An absolute monster here.
Catch you getting his level 6 from that engagement.
Yep.
Immediately providing them with the team fight.
Not necessarily done yet here. They really want this tower. A couple more TPs coming in though. As yeah, that'll be cancelled. There's no way to fight for this one anymore. And this is perhaps a weakness from CDEC. Till they get these blink daggers up and running, the ability to just engage with the Lion especially. Speaking of Lion, moving. Gonna come in, do a bit of damage. Should not be able to finish him by himself. Just pushing him out of lane here, pushing him away from the blink dagger, I guess. To see a big push here in these mid lane towers for either team, so wouldn't be too surprised to see that be next big thing that LBZS want to focus on, as they're getting tier 1 top 3 for the moment.
Yeah, LBZS are the ones with the overwhelming teamfight advantage here. They really have the pick-off potential. The Darkseer pick was nice to make the lanes in order for CDEC, but again, they rely on their supports for initiation now. So the Nyx Assassin with Surge, the Lion with, well, not a Blink Dagger anytime soon. And that means that LBZS get to decide where the next fight is, and I would indeed be very surprised if that isn't mid.
Just clicking away a little bit already. Top tier 1 goes down. In exchange, of course, for the tier 1 bottom, CDC was able to make that trade, but they're still tower behind because they were unable to really respond to this push in their bottom lane. Going mid, Zhao Fu is there, so is Katyu. Can chip away at it too. Has that ultimate available. Wanna create some chaos. Very annoying to take a fight more aggressively into the river because there are some places you can bounce off of. Playing like behind your tower though on CDC, it's not that much of an issue. That being said, Irving waiting off to the side, pretty good angle to walk in, get the arena. I do believe he was spotted though. It was doesn't matter. He still gets it off on 2 people. Catchu goes in with the follow-up. There's a wall down, but it doesn't really do all that much. But neither does the arena. There's just not enough follow-up. CDC ready for this one. The Omni Slash on the side though, not bouncing enough illusions. 1-for-1 trade. All said and done, as Beyond unable to chase down Irving for some reason. Now Puck, look at this damage coming through. With a DD rune? He does indeed.
Yep. He doubled back in the process of running away to quickly snag the DD rune that spawned next to him. He was hasted, so he could afford that.
Yep. We go again, Jiaofu. Healing up his friend Irving. Yeah, there's no arena, there's no coil, there's no Pangoli ultimate, but there's also not a whole lot for CDC to throw up against them, so yeah, just go in for round 2 again. Puck's still scary enough as it is at the moment, and okay, that's a Ravage stun here on 3 different people. Does it matter? Not really, not for the Knicks. He's still the first one to die as they're looking for more blood. Searching away his lion friend. Don't think you want to dive tier 2 towers just yet, LBZS. That's a bit crazy without ultimates. Not that it will
I
catch
think
you,
they
I know,
still
but
want
yeah.
to.
And a bit far out, call connects. Yeah, it's just a free kill right here. And if they can get blood too, this would be big, but no angle for a spear there.
LBZS are really pressing their advantage now that they have it. There's a full pipe on that Darkseer, but it just doesn't feel like it's quite doing enough with the amount of mixed damage that's coming out from LBZS.
Sentry walls in mid, doesn't Man. Oh, catch you. He's finding the courier on the minimap? Yes, he does. Actually got it. Link Dagger online as well. First one of the game in the hands of the Puck. So if you thought he was scary before, try him now. Kind of holding the game in his hands right now. Like all of the action is centered around this Puck. Not so much about around the Mars like we used to seeing.
I mean, Irving had a couple of good flanking movements, but it's really all about the Puck and the jump, and especially if CDEC is grouped up with their backliners, they stand no chance whatsoever. We've seen this Lion and Nyx play plenty away from each other, because they have to.
So that someone is there, silence doesn't quite connect, but a stun does not connect either. Again, 2 ultimates committed just for a line. Normally you'd say, yeah, maybe that's a bit overkill, but they're also establishing control over this jungle.
Look at all of that Radiant Vision and how much more forward it is than the Dire Vision over on the other side. Mars can still very easily farm some of these camps without being spotted. In the meantime, this Morphling has been farming up a storm. His courier is dead, unfortunately. Otherwise, we'd be seeing the Manta Style come out right now. Which is going to put Once in a very nice position, because this protects him from the silence from the Puck. It gives him a ton of stats, and it's going to amp up his farm speed significantly once he's got the illusions online. Yeah. And that means that for Wishing, this is about the time where he's got to step it up as well.
Oh, he's only slightly ahead of the Morphling. CDC smoked up behind Beyond. Really like to claim this tier 1 mid, but it's very tough to engage into. Like LBZS, if Irving's ready to go with his arena. So if you can take him out first, this would be big, especially if he gets a stun also onto Jiaofu. Gets a couple of spells up though on himself with the False Promise. The arena is there as well with the finger. Not gonna get the stacks. Is he Irving? Is he just TPing out? Okay, that's a bit crazy here. Puck now taking over. Not enough mana here for Katyu's ult, and no one's actually died just yet. And oh, perfectly timed stun. And the Hex as well to get the big kill after all.
Well, that's very unfortunate for LBZS after avoiding getting their Mars killed first.
Yeah. Like a decent fight, but it just didn't quite have the power to finish up a new body off. But maybe now with that Katyu ultimate that was missing in the last fight, they finish off one. A spear over on one of the few remaining trees and trying to cut down once, but it's very, very tough at this point here. Spins on out of there. It's Katyu looking forward, showing that one off here. Bit of a slow over on the Nyx, but healing ward out as well. It's not just a spin, you also get the free heals for your team. It turns out.
Yep. Excellent play from once here. Is that just a straight up satanic next? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why not. The burst damage over on the side of LBZS is definitely lacking. It's going to have to come in the shape of this Juggernaut, but the Juggernaut is moving into the Skadi. He was thinking about the S and Y first, but I think he realizes that he can't really afford it. He's got to keep down those heals. He's got to keep everyone slowed up so they can stay close to him and he can hit them. But that is, I'm very sure, going to lead to a lack of damage. Unless, of course, well, hey, this is something we haven't seen in a while. That's a Desolator Puck.
Oh, man.
We're going to see right-click Puck. That's going to make up for it if he doesn't die right here.
It's a lot of damage here, but is it enough with the healing ward coming out? Unable to snipe it until just now, but it also means he gives up his life as, okay, Katyu interrupted for the moment, and that's enough time for Lion to actually blink on out of there, so saving lives with a vacuum, of all things. That would have been a big kill if they got the puck though, but just shy of the damage needed between the two of them.
For a second there I was scared that he actually killed himself by stunning himself on the carapace. Which would have definitely been the case if the Juggernaut didn't come in with that healing ward as well. Give me Mars. Let's go. There's pretty much nothing over on the side of CDEC that can threaten the Mars now. Don't think this Bloodseeker can right-click challenge him. Don't think the the Morphling really wants to.
Not for a while. He's getting kind of big though, like especially with Satanic. Like one, it's another dispel as well. So you don't always have to commit the mad style. You have other options, and two, it's Morphling is an interesting hero because if you add extra strength, extra tankiness, it just means that you can shift more of your base stats into agility, so it's still kind of a damage item in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
While still keeping you safe, obviously, as full 5-minute smoke comes out now for LBZS. They're feeling some pressure here, maybe also starting to think about Roche, so if they can get a good team fight going here, that might be on the menu, but the smoke breaking on Juggernaut.
Unfortunate. Yeah, they'd really want to get a pick off with that Puck Desolator, but unfortunately for them, not available. So they use it for the Roshan instead, which is going to go down pretty fast. And with the mid lane being pushed out, I don't actually think CDEC have an easy way to contest this. They lack the team fight anyway, so it wouldn't feel like a great contest either way. All you'd have is the Darkseer, really.
Darkseer with the blink in the pipe. Team-oriented items. LBZS with another smoke. Going up the high ground here where most of CDEC is at, but they're a bit split actually, as all you need is to just blink and get close. And get stunned, only on one. No blink actually on Irving, so that explains why he didn't do that. You do find a stack at least on the Ancients.
Yeah, you take what you can get, but this is a bit unfortunate for a teamfight lineup having to chase after that fight and not getting it.
Well, there's one way to try and force fights or at least get something else out of them if you don't, which is pushing down towers.
Those are not going to run away.
No.
That's why I have a slight bias towards team fighting lineups that can also take down towers. If team fighting lineups that can also pick off, you're in a position where it's... If people aren't willing to give you fights, you're not going to get any.
Yep. So with that Desolator, they can also chew through towers that much more quickly, and they can consider, alright, for now defend, but after that maybe get the outpost up top. But if you can get this kill, down bottoms would be big, but Satanic comes through as well. One's still very tough unless you have everybody there ready to go. His line is a bit of a different story. A fight in mid has to bring down one, bring down two. Blood also has to run away from the spin into another W from Irving.
They probably let down the guard a little bit because they saw at least one hero on bottom, like, oh, we can't get caught anymore.
Oh, Puck is down here. Surely they can't take a fight now. And okay, they were wrong. And now Puck is right back with a Desolator. All 5 hitting the tier 3 tower. They're getting it.
I think Irving needed to hide in the trees to get that fight off again. But he has been doing that very reliably.
Alright. Easy Rex, it turns out. Maybe you can get a replay on how that fight started, actually.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Because I'd like to think that CDC wouldn't just walk into that.
Oh, the one. Oh no! The anti-synergy!
Oh.
Stun missing here, Xiaofu able to get a couple of spells off on him, and no teleport scroll actually get away from this. We're just gonna have to be the good old heals, and it's not nearly enough. 1 to the 1. Get credit for that kill.
Unfortunate that they have to drop the wall, though. This could definitely be a window for LBZS if they were feeling like it, but I don't think they are. They're very split right now, just farming up, enjoying the spoils of the fact that CDC has to push all the waves back out again first.
Up's gonna be gone on, small space for wishing. They still have the Aegis for 1.5 minutes though, so it's a bit of a waste if you don't take an engagement here, one way or the other.
Well, first they needed the Scotty to finish, I think. So now that that's done, wishing's gonna be on this bottom tower.
CDC TPing in 1 by 1. What about this one going on? But there's a 3-man arena. One of them will waveform out. Supports with the puck coming in, trying to get clean through them first, and they will be successful. Now onto the next one. Once it's there, wishing still holding on to the Omni Slash. He doesn't want to blow it on the waveform. Catch you on the side. And be brought down by Beyond, but that's a BKB down for that. The Omni Slash now on Blood as he finds a target and gets a free creep wave.
No.
That's some efficiency right there. Get the kill, get the farm at the same time, and once again, 3 heroes down just in exchange for a single Pangolier. Didn't even lose that Aegis. That was such a weird engagement for CDC to try and take.
Yeah, I can see the 1-by-1 aspect there. You're just trying to keep wishing in that slightly overextended position until the backup comes in. You've got a finger at the ready as well. But he just got that Scotty. He's very tanky, and of course Irving has shown us twice now that he's the master of the trees. Yeah. And if you hide in the trees, you better be ready for him to come for you. A really easy counter engagement. And Xiaofu as well held the Morphling out of the fight for even longer because he waveformed out, was looking for new targets, and then the Oracle just purged him, rooted him to the ground. And he was sitting there watching his supports get destroyed.
What you want to have happen to you?
Not
these
at all.
supports, especially these kind of supports, if they're out of the picture, all of a sudden you're out of stuns, right? They're the ones engaging.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're the ones who can kind of blink in with a vacuum into a line stun, into another line stun from the Nyx, you know, that would be amazing, but we didn't really see that at all this game. This LBZS were always the ones initiating, always just fighting the backline with the puck with the Mars, killing off these squishy heroes.
No. As I was saying before, the Lion and Nyx can never afford to play next to each other, and that's exactly the mistake they made right there. And again, at this point, if you want to keep the Juggernaut locked down, these are your only two options. You kind of gotta be, you know, in the same radius at least. It's a rock and a hard place.
Another smoke from LBZS. Will break here, blink forward, BKB catches 2, one will wait from out, the other one will be taken down very swiftly indeed. Coil not quite catching the Nyx somehow. It looked like it would have. As there's a vacuum, there's a wall, there's a stun, but BKB comes out from the pack here. He'll be fine, but the other two not so much. Mars as well as Zhao Fu down for the count. It's now down to Wishing on the Slash. A couple of heroes here, bounces off towards Illusions, but back to the actual heroes once. Well, still tanky enough as he has to spin TP out. Big use than Lion though. And Beyond, if I see that right.
Mm-hmm. Excellent engagement from CDEC there. They realize that with the puck coil down, they can actually take this fight again because the supports can kite now. So both the Juggernaut and the puck running after that line gives CDEC plenty of space to go after the heroes that are still caught in the wall.
Yep. That's a combo that we were just talking about, right? Wall, get a couple people together and just AoE stun them down. I mean, Puck, the only reason he survived there was because he got this BKB out.
Just delivered before that fight.
Bit of a Fields Batman there for CDEC, but what can you do?
Yep. BKB for the Morphling as well. Actually surprised to see that. Normally in these games. Yeah, because he already doesn't really have the damage. You can see that they can just ignore him over on the side of LBZS and go for the other kills. Yeah. Especially if he's used his Manta style. Single root is enough to keep him away for a while. And I thought that perhaps with the Juggernaut in the game, he'd be content with grabbing the Juggernaut farm.
Okay, Spear, another stun across once, pops the BKB, tries to satanic up, but that is impossible up against the Skadi, so now just has used it to try and get away and into the spin coming through. Bit of a stun there from the Nyx, but now the call catches him. No Ag Scepter on that, so Beyond just trying to TP out on the cover of that BKB. Not quite enough power and Wishing to eat through him there. A lot of resources committed, but CDEC still come out slightly behind.
Have to give up their territory again as well. Have to give up their outpost.
Give up Roche. Roche perhaps just respawning right now. Here he was hanging around in the pit, just waiting for this moment. This is the second Roche too, so free shot for whoever wants it. Kaiju already has one.
I saw Irving queuing one up earlier as well. He might already have it.
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, very nice.
Getting it.
Excellent. So he's getting Burning Trail on the Spear, as well as being able to take 2 people at the same time.
Very nice. This last remaining tier 2 tower, not really a bulwark at all. It's his LBZS lineup at the moment, but CDEC, they realize they need to get something done here. Smoking into an age is always very tricky.
A little bit light.
Kind of hoping that LBZS is kind of splitting up the farm a little bit here, but they're doing no such thing. Wishing. Lean at a charge, breaking the smoke. All sticking together. Quite find either one of them.
And if you would have watched the map movement there, you would have seen that the front line of LBZS was always out in front aggressively, while the backline sort of swung behind them, making sure that there was no good ways for the Nyx Assassin to actually get at them without having to pass the Juggernaut and the option of violently dying under a sentry ward.
That 3 lanes pushing in, I mean, of course, also LBZS helped out by the fact that they've been able to take down melee racks in mid as well as bots. So those lanes are pushing in naturally. They can still focus on top, focus on just cutting off CDEC entirely from any source of farm. Because that's the other thing. Like, if you use a Rax this early, you have 2 lanes where you're just not getting a lot of farm out of these creeps, even if they push into your base.
Yep. I think it's actually probably even worse for them that one of the racks has not been taken. Because it means that it doesn't push that fast. You're not going to get the creeps delivered to your doorstep all the time. It means that you have to go out and get them, while LBZS still gets to have pretty much all of the map.
Using that here, they have another minute or so to basically do that and still have a good Aegis team fight in them. MKB completed on a jug.
I did the calculations once. Like, if you are 2 racks down and you're getting all of the money from those creep waves guaranteed, then you're not actually losing as much as you think you are, because normally creep waves are out there dying on the map where you're not getting the gold.
Yeah, that's true actually, yeah. At least you get them delivered, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the silver lining.
God,
It's not much you want.
Has a DD, and he also picked up an Arcane Rune now. And he has the Aghanim Scepter, I believe, in his backpack for some reason. So I think it's fight time, Kips.
Reasons. I think it is, and it's going to be the last one of the game, if LBZS has anything to say about it. Which I think they do.
Arcane Rune triggered, Aghanim Scepter swapped in.
Locked and loaded.
Get anywhere close here. That magic immunity is not gonna help you all that much right now. If you're once, his blood goes in. Alright, he's still going. A lot of damage being done to Wishing, but he's still very much alive. It's the wall down. They're happy with that. Still a minute left on the Aegis. They can re-engage a little bit later.
Wait a little bit for that Juggernaut illusion to... Well, I don't think they actually have the time to let it time out. So they're swapping lanes instead.
Also works. Could easily going through mid at the same time. We do have the real Jug man fighting up against himself up top. Was about to expire, I'm sure. I can never judge that, but yeah, there we go. Alright. 25 seconds on the Aegis, so cutting it rather close here. Blood, nice little vacuum, but very little follow-up here. Beautiful arena goes in. Okay, goodbye, Nick. Sends a buyback. Might have to use it here. Lion does not, though. 75 seconds on the sidelines. Blood caught between the Pangolier, the literal rock, and the wall being the hard place. One way or the other. It's going to be down to once and beyond to try and get something done here. And they actually find a puck. With that extra stun from the Knicks. Not expected, but certainly very welcome if you're a CDEC fan. Able to hold on to the top racks.
Required LBZS to chase very deep into the base though. Yeah. A little bit baited by CDEC as well. I saw once really refusing to hit until they come further forward. For a moment there I thought he was just scared. It's like, what are you doing? You're just stutter stepping on the edge of the fight. It's like, no, he needs them to come closer.
Yeah. Bring them close, I need to hit them with my sword.
Exactly.
Well, I believe the range tracks in the other 2 lanes have been taken down by the super creeps while that was happening though, so... Between that, the tier 3 going down and 2 buybacks being committed, LBZS cannot be too unhappy with that fight. That being said though, they don't have the puck right now, they don't have that Aegis. Gotta be a bit careful, CDEC, they smell blood. Smell an opportunity here, and if they can catch Wishing, he is with big, but he gets spin out. The arena comes as well. No Oracle taken out immediately, but look at this power. Between Catchy, Irving, and Wishing. All I have is once right here, and can he make his way out? The waveform is there. Irving right on top of that, though, and Wishing. Alright, Lotus all back. Can he actually get the Omnislash shot? He cannot!
Nice!
Too many stuns here. Lion shows up again with a vengeance. Somehow CDC make that one work. Very costly still. But they got what they needed.
They did. Morphin got himself a Daedalus for the fight, but they really need to focus fire over on CDC if they want to get anything done. And yeah, that requires LBZS to split up a little bit more. Otherwise they simply don't get their heroes to live for long enough to actually get to click them.
I don't know if you saw this for the moment, but Darkseer was dead and the Iron Shell got the last hit and dropped the neutral item. And it flew away from, I believe, it was Beyond who was actually farming it. And then flew all the way to when Darkseer died. They were a bit confused and then pinging it out. Oh, it's there. I believe it was a Trix's cloak.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it was interesting how that works.
Like a well-intentioned change, that one, but
yeah,
Dota, man, the interactions never work how you want them to.
You seen the one game where Nature's Prophet, I believe it was Nature's Prophet, he just uses the ultimate, gets a random creep kill in the jungle with it while he's being gone on, and drops the chipped vest as well, one of the better tier 1s. And then flies to him and then gets picked up by the enemy bristleback.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a bristleback too.
Yeah, it's the worst. There's some shenanigans that can be afoot with that mechanic, and I don't mind at all, actually.
I think it's a slight improvement over what it was.
Yeah.
Which is, you're farming something while you're making an exit, and then an item drops, and it's like, oh god, do I go back in to pick it up? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
This one, at least, you have to actively already be screwed. Instead of getting the choice of screwing yourself over.
Yeah. Speaking of neutral items, here we see a nice little overview. Minotaur Horn on both sides. Illusionist Cape as well. Pretty nice for the morphing in particular.
Yeah, that feels really good. Juggernaut actually getting the tome there in order to pick up his level 25 faster.
Third Roche, but it's a very long respawn, close to max time here. 30 more seconds on the clock. It's more time for CDC to come up with some sort of plan. It's still tough for them to actually engage into an area like the Roche pit. Everything is up and ready for LBZS at least. So. Yeah, they know this too. They're just sitting there patiently, like, yeah. It's fine. It doesn't matter if we waste a minute here. As long as we get
all
the
that
Aegis.
matters.
Yeah.
Or even just letting your mid tower take damage, you don't care.
No.
They know that CDEC knows exactly where they are. And both teams also know that CDEC can't do anything about it whatsoever.
Still smoked up as 5. They're gonna be too late here. Just an illusion, my friends. Pick up everything at CDC. They're gonna have to retreat back up to the high ground and hope for a bit of a miracle at this point. Like, how do you engage into a level 25 Juggernaut? Consumed Aghanim Scepter. Got the shard too. Like, he does so much damage at this point.
He does. Their only hope would have been, for once, to be big enough at this point. And he is pretty scary, but he's not as scary as wishing.
Is it disarm? Mansal comes out. Vacuum only on the single one here. And Irving with counter initiation. Beyond the BKB will protect himself, but Darkseer is down. Wishing has to take care of his own illusion though. That's still hurts quite a bit if he's walking past this wall. As long as it's still alive, as long as it's still going, you can. I'll say you could have always blinked in if Darkseer wasn't dead. And now the Rapture. A bit of damage here, but actually got reflected over and beyond to get the Aegis. Another buyback on once. They have to make something happen here. They have to take this opportunity. Bring down a Juggernaut a second time, but there's some false promise. Zhao Fu still very much alive in this game. Once, not so much at all. He could not morph anything against the Scotty. As soon as he returns into the fight, as soon he leaves again. GG. Well played is called LBZS. Victory in game number 1.
Dominantly so. There's really just no place that CDEC can make. They don't come out of the lanes well enough in order for their supports to really have an impact. And those supports, as we've talked about at length in the game, are the ones that actually get to make the plays because they're the ones with the disables.
Yep.
Just a Darkseer ion shelling something like a Bloodseeker is not enough. And you can see that in the way they engage as well. It's always with the supports, always these attempts to get something done with Darkseer +2. And it's really not enough versus the huge teamfight reactions that LBZS is able to put out. So CDEC starts playing scared. They start relying on the Morphling, putting all the eggs in one basket. And as it turns out, he's just not online fast enough.
Yeah, Juggernaut always able to keep a step ahead, especially with the kind of map control that they've been able to gain because of this confidence, because knowing, okay, we can always take these engagements, even if they go into us first. Because then Irving is ready with the Blink, with the BKB eventually, just turning things around with the arena. Puck is always in a good position as well to follow up with the damage. And then these supports that have to go in, like you said, that have to be there to make something happen. They're dead, and then you run out of stuns. You don't have damage either, so the fight's just over.
And I do want to say, like you're saying, Irving with the Blink, he didn't have a Blink because he knew that they'd have to engage into him.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
didn't matter.
Did he have it in the end? So I don't know.
He got one eventually, I think.
Yeah.
But really took his time about it, and
yeah, he didn't have it for a while.
no surprise either.
Of course, Zhao Fu to back all of this up. Like even if they did try to burst somebody down, Zhao Fu was there to mess things up for them a couple of times. Even in these early engagements, just the power of the puck, the nuking power from Zhao Fu as well coming into play. There were a couple of nice situations like this one, where you think, all right, there's a couple of free kills here, but somehow Irving gets to live. Oracle
a
still
little
dies.
bit of missed targeting for the Bloodseeker there, I think. But it's very close either way.
I still get the puck here as well as the tower, so the end of the world for them. Still pretty good fight, but this was just a very questionable go at the best of times. Engaging into an Aegis, into that Mars. It's just the only one that gets Kachu down here, and that's just after Beyond pops the BKB.
And a bonus kill.
Yeah. Go again. Only catches one, but it is the Bloodseeker who's just didn't really feel his
Bloodseeker
impact
did not
this
have a
game.
game.
Right? No.
No.
Not at all. They get re-engaged on here with a nice vacuum wall into a stun on two. So
Yeah, coils down.
yeah, that's
This
the
was
one
their best
big-
fight.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the one big teamfight combination that they had, and just didn't get it off many times. Like even here, a vacuum, but no follow-up. This is close to the
Yeah,
last
well-
fight.
All was spent in the previous engagement.
Yep.
And here, this is one. Did you see him stutter stepping?
Yep.
I was really like, all right, they're not close enough yet.
Need
Had
to be
work
in a
around that arena
fountain.
as well. Basically, at that point.
Again, they bring down Oracle. Good start, but then you just get bounced around.
Yeah, and you can see once he's hitting a lot, but it's just all bouncing off of that arena.
Yep.
That's your Daedalus. Your first Daedalus fight.
Still get the jog like the. It's not like CDC didn't get anything, but it just didn't get nearly enough. One kill here and there and one of the cores, but not enough to re-establish map control. Not enough.
It's
to
happening again there, by the
make
way.
them scared.
Like,
Yeah.
just all of once his hits bouncing off of the arena.
Yeah. Dies to get the Aegis. He comes back in. But oh yeah, it's also great baiting them in, and then it's like no, still got the false promise.
Yeah, and one of the luxuries that Oracle really had this game is that, yeah, people can just forget about him or sort of overlook the fact that he's in there.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't had to use the false promise very often at all. So when it does come out, it's like, oh, snap, that was still up, wasn't it? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you have so many issues. You start to forget the ones, these contingencies, that you can't deal with anyway, right? It's like
Yeah, you just can't plan for them anymore.
yeah, just gotta go in, do your best, and
You
hope that the
never
other team
got
makes
to
a
that
mistake.
point before.
yeah.
Painful.
pretty good draft here, pretty good execution from LBZS. That's the kind of team that we used to seeing from them. They did have some stumbles though previously in this season, so we'll see what happens. But wishing the MVP in this one as well to stand in for the carry position. Seems to be working out quite well, at least if you have this bread and butter. You know, with the jug being the bread, the butter being, I guess, the puck or something. The mass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, victory is a victory. 1-0 in the series. We're gonna take a break, but we'll be back with game number 2 very soon. Stay tuned.
请夜眼方禁用英雄，请天辉方禁用英雄。请天辉方挑选英雄。还剩10秒，还剩5秒，请夜眼方挑选英。
天涯莫客。
请夜眼方挑选英。
沙漠。
请天辉方挑选英雄。米拉呢？
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back already here. Game number 2 in this best of 3 series. One of the decisive matchups here in the lower division for the DPC China Season 2. LBZS, very strong performance, game number 1, but hey, it's time for new drafts. So we'll see whether CDEC can turn things around. They certainly have the capacity to do so, I'm sure. Up against Grimstroke and Earth Spirits. It's gonna be no Spirit catch you, Earth Spirit.
100%. Yeah, we are going to see some Rambo actions.
That guy is absolutely crazy, and especially if he gets to play heroes like this, where you don't need to have a lot of lead-up time, right? You need level 2, and then you can start going ham. And
yep.
It's the right type of player with the right type of hero, and yeah, especially if you end up rotating into the Grimstroke lane, you have that extra bit of disable to work with. That's something that CDEC will need to be prepared for.
They have their own disables this time around, though. I think that's definitely a lesson to be learned from that previous game. So they just immediately start off Sand King Mirana. We've seen the Sand King all over the mid lane recently, but still some support play in the lower division. Actually, I believe I saw PYW play it recently as well. So some support Sand King as well, of course. Mirana also usually support, can be a laner still if you need it to be. And I was about to say, isn't somebody going to take care of that Doom? The answer is yes.
They did, yes, indeed.
Takes it out.
Yeah, especially when you're up against the Grimstroke, it's do you really want the double Doom potential? No, you don't. So gotta take it out in the end. Also, perhaps respect banning the Juggernaut. Don't want to have to deal with that again. Obviously, someone who can soak up those stuns here with a well-timed spin. We'll have the Troll Warlord on the field, so might be consideration to ban out for either one of these teams now.
I think the most bothersome carries are gone right now. CDEC not wanting to deal with that Juggernaut. And over on the side, no Morphling, no Faceless Void. Since most of the supports are already out, I don't expect to see a Spectre Warlock here anymore, but that has been a staple of other regions recently. Broodmother, okay.
I believe they banned it out last game as well. Raid with the cheese. Is Broodmother a good hero nowadays anyway? It seems a bit weird now. The spiders are your ultimate.
It's a bit weird. The two Broodmothers I've seen so far have both been offlaners. The one I watched in more details, Faith Beyond, who went for a very tanky Broodmother build with, I believe she ended up with Pipe and Greaves.
Okay.
A lot of sustain, hard to catch, a lot of harass. Didn't work out for him that game, I believe. But it didn't work out because there was a Eurus Sven taking over the game. That's what happened. And of course right now you don't necessarily need to have an answer for the Spiderlings in the lane, but it is still a great farm acceleration for the Broodmother once she's got her 6.
Right,
And you're going to deal with them afterwards.
Yeah, we're kind of lacking team fight last game. This time around, not so much between the Sand King and now the Elder Titan. They've got a whole lot of it.
Feels very good versus most agi carries that can be picked up by LBZS here.
Alright, whatever you can do, we can do better, they say. Axia on the field as well. So, and yeah, I mean, if we talk about that Axia as laning combo in the offlane, which is where it's traditionally placed. Last game we talked about that together with the Nyx Assassin. Didn't work out that way in the end because it was that mid Axia. I'm not sure if LBZS have something similar in mind because, once again, I mean, the one thing that makes Earth Spirit even scarier is extra damage output in the earlier phases of the game. So it would make sense that they be comboed up together in that offlane.
I mean, last game the mid Darkseer was definitely partially forced by the Oracle presence on the safe lane, so I doubt that LBZS will do the same unless forced to by a CDEC pick, but most likely both supports over on CDEC are already on the field. Of course, there are possibilities of a mid Sand King and an offlane Elder Titan or something crazy like that, but probably less so than POS 5 ET, POS 4 Mirana, POS 2 or 3 Sand King.
Taking some time to think about this one.
I mean, they have the flexibility. They could definitely do something crazy here.
Question is, if you're down 1-0, the best of 3, do you really want to do something crazy? Or do you want to go back to the
Usually my answer is yes, but it depends. If you lost the previous game because you just couldn't find your footing, then you don't need to really go towards anything crazy. Okay, so they're counting on the Darkseer offlane. It's going to be a PA. It's going to feel good in that lane no matter what, because she can last it with the daggers. And of course, if you get kill threat on the Darkseer, you can chase him pretty easily.
Speaking of kill threat, add the Tiny on top of that, which is gonna be a core at this point. Or presumably mid, I guess? That's still a thing?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've heard the I've heard the panel for the upper division talk about this a little bit. Apparently, especially in SCA, these support tinies have not worked out, but the core tinies all have. Yeah. So they're like, all right, make it a core, please make it a core.
Yeah, it will make a lot of sense, right? And yeah, what's if you look at the heroes from CDC, especially that Phantom Assassin, like it basically turns her into 2/3 item carry, item timing. Like you need that BKB on top of the damage item, on top of the farming item, ideally as well. Well, she just dives to Tiny, like she's not super tanky. There's no big defensive supports. Tiny blinking in on you with a combo, you just disappear.
I mean, there's options here. Like I've seen recently, especially it was Matuma Man, I think, go a Desolator first on the PA. And then what you rely on is for your mid, well, or your offlane, in this case, your mid Sand King, maybe, to provide a pipe pretty early on.
Yep.
And then you actually get to stay there again. Get into those fights, survive the first burst combo out from the Tiny, kill people before they can kill you, all that good PA stuff. But yeah, that would require the team play to be in order in that dimension. They need to have somebody who wants to build the pipe, who is going to build the pipe, and then of course the PA needs to be comfortable with actually going a fast build when for the past 2 years we've been seeing very slow PAs with, as you said, 2-3 item timings. Sometimes people try to fight with Battle Fury BKB, but I've seen a lot of times that just your damage comes up short.
Yeah, it's
you really want a Deso.
Yeah, but that Desolated feels like a lot weaker than it could be. That's because it is, so.
Yes. The other option, of course, here is the last big Magnus. Then you can then you can go BKB to your heart's content. Go Deso BKB like Madara.
Yep.
Have a good time.
If you have a Battle Fury as a skill from one of your team.
Ember Spirit. Okay, LBZS want to go fast. Got a lot of brawling potential here, got a lot of mixed damage. Of course, the Ember scales with right click eventually. I imagine that it's going to be the intention here to get a Desolator pickup on that eventually. Could be a safe lane Tiny. I haven't seen that. I don't particularly like it because your window for ultimate burst, which is full levels in Abatos, comes later, and then of course you also want to be farming jungle. I think it's going to be safe lane Ember.
Yeah, it seems to make the most sense to me too. But yeah, it's definitely right with the idea of, alright, gotta play fast, just gotta win the game before the Phantom Assassin really goes into the late game, you know, where it's just like, alright, he throws out a dagger and then, hey, by the way, your support is dead now. Good luck.
That window.
Good luck fighting, I guess. But
are we having fun yet? I am.
One dagger and I'm die. What the fuck? Yeah, I want to try and avoid that. And as I said, they do have some strong combos, some strong timings, especially if it is this tiny mid. Right? You gotta get your levels. You can rotate around. There's gonna be a lot of aggression coming out again from the Earth Spirit in conjunction with the rest of that, and it's.
It feels like very good for both of these cores, both the Tiny as well as the Ember, to rotate towards the Darkseer lane, or for the Darkseer to come into their lane. Extra speed plus Ion Shell is going to feel really good. No purge for it this time. And if they want to play a pick-off game here, they've got everything set up perfectly.
Oh yeah.
They can really get this snowball rolling if they want to. It's just that, you know, the towers are maybe going to present a little bit more of an issue than they normally do.
That's true.
Not diving them, you understand?
Yeah.
Killing them.
Diving towers? What does that even mean? Wait, the towers are supposed to give them an advantage defensively? Nah. It's still dying.
I just see them as like the pickup point for the takeout, you know?
Oh well. So yeah, you're right there. I actually hadn't considered that yet, just the ability to take towers. I mean, I guess once Tiny gets going, once he has a bit of attack speed to work with, like he can eat through towers rather quickly. The big old tree in his hand. So something that you can rely on eventually. Catch you plopping down a very early observer. And scouts out that Elder Titan try to do the same thing, so just taking advantage of this fact that he's pretty damn fast.
Get that rollout. That's going to give them a ward advantage on the mid lane.
I haven't talked about the centaur pick yet, so what is the centaur mid shenanigans?
What is the centaur mid shenanigans? Now is the Sand King mid shenanigans. I've seen this happen more often recently, where you play two brawly boys with a proper hard carry, sort of to make up for the fact that you're going to have this longer time to have to build up on your carry when the enemy carry definitely doesn't. And LBZS don't even have a traditional carry right now, so I very much agreed with this. Blood is going to be... Is he going to be up versus a Darkseer mid? I actually think... No, it's an Ember. Okay, he's going to absolutely destroy this Ember.
Yeah.
That is not a fun lane. Ember Spirit. You know, you have some protection from magical damage, so the first time a creep pops, you're not going to feel it if you have your Flame Guard up, but the second time, it's too much.
At least it's something. Like, if you send a Tiny up against the Sand King, you would have a very terrible, an even more terrible time, I suppose.
Yeah. Nobody's going to like that lane.
So just what you get when all the calls are melee, so...
Of course, the Ember Spirit also comes back better in the sense that he has a nice power spike on 6, but you don't necessarily need to hit it early as much as a Tiny does.
Titan already doing tons of damage here, block and roll from Kachu. And he gets the courier! Oh no. First blood somewhere else though. What? Okay.
Yeah, so the thing that I said.
Yeah. That's a
I'm not
validation,
surprised,
isn't it?
but I am disappointed. Like, if I know this, then surely the Ember Spirit knows this.
Yes. Well, Kaiju wants to get some revenge here. Level 1 Vacuum not really doing anything as he's missing it. And Kaiju super low all of a sudden again as once. He's also taken out to the Iron Shell though. Another slow, another couple of right clicks. Can once get him? He cannot. Roll to the wrong side perhaps. Still far enough away from the Elder Titan. And yeah, I see you shaking your head, and
Yeah.
there's really nothing else that you can say to this one. Eyes bigger than the stomach, as we say in Germany.
Same in Dutch, yeah. It doesn't translate too well, I think. But yeah, it's especially surprising because you could see the Elder Titan expertly dodging the Ion Shell ticks there, going in, out, in, and then once just commits.
It's a level 1 Ion Shell, it doesn't do anything, come on.
I know you're PA, I know going in is sort of what you do, but usually that's like after 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Also, while we're talking about that, Ember Spirit has learned his lesson. He is now pulling the creep wave over to the side whenever he can. He's a melee hero with Ion Shell. If he can just not lane and tank the creeps for that price, that's better for him than the alternative, which is this.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Thinking that's... He missed like one creep. 23 and 3 at the moment. Pretty good position for him to be in, so you're winning that lane as you predicted. Be too surprised to see more shenanigans in this top lane. Perhaps in mid if you can somehow land a burst strike into an arrow. The Mirana being off the map, that should go. Okay, Vacuum back in, so the Ion Shells. Goodbye, Elder Titan. Yeah, this is where things become dangerous.
Double melee. A lane on top is not all that advantageous for CDEC if the other double melee lane has Ion Shell.
Yep.
So LBZS is definitely getting their trades in here on the laning front. Going to win top, lose mid. And that leaves us with bottom, where we haven't really looked yet.
Tiny 18 and 3 to 22 and 3 right now on the Centaur, so Suppose not really being having much impact as right now. Actually, Kaiju making that rotation, so that's the Iron Shell on top of him. Bit of a gift there from the Dark CN with that to actually get that kill. Irving actually gets that kill with that Iron Shell. So
very nice. Kaiju loves these rotations on level 2, level 3. If he can, he's going to do it. And that Centaur was getting way too comfortable in bot lane.
As we said, he's Earthspirit's the kind of hero where that's all you need. Then at the level 2 Iron Shell on top. That does mean though that Irving is left his own devices up top. Almost brings down once, but almost gets you nothing in Dota. Playing a bit too aggressively here for support being with his support being out of the lane. Still hanging around bottom.
And just watching the minimap where Blood is taking all of the creep camps on the enemy side again. He really has not had to change his style up much. And Ember has his level 6, has played a lot more carefully now.
Oh, there's another combo. Without the Iron Shell, they're having some issues actually finishing off Beyond though. Now, TP into a Storm. The arrow tanked up by the creeps. Couriers flying about that they're not interested in. They want Zhao Fu instead, but another slow coming in. The roll does connect over on the Elder Titan now. Sees a bit of trouble inside the trees. Beyond gets both these couriers on the way out. Another stomp just to slow them down, but eventually he will die. Do the right click. So a bit of an awkward engagement down there.
I'd say with both of the couriers going the way of CDEC, that might actually be a win for them.
Especially with Beyond even surviving, so it's a lot of time being spent here and only support going down. I want to combo up again. Fu and Katju, if they can get the sanking mids, would be big. He's already sitting at 3.8k net worth, give or take. There's a roll, follow-up stuns, ready to go with the silence, no sandstorm, no nothing. Very nicely executed.
Nothing a Mirana can do, even if you land the arrow.
Much needed kill. Of course, not for the Ember, who is, I guess he's happy for the breathing room that he has in his mid lane.
Yes, yeah, and he hasn't suffered as much as he could have. He definitely did the right things in dragging the creep wave over to the side. And in general, managing his distance from the Sand King better. He quickly learned to not contest. Just let him have his creeps. Maybe you get to have yours.
1,000 gold behind.
I think the bigger deal though is that the PA has also had a good lane. Like for the Sand King, it's almost a given.
Yeah, the kill that they got at Irving earlier was pretty helpful. Now the supports with Katju being back in up top. Burstrike comes through to turn this one around with the wall being down. Makes things a little bit more awkward, but the Epicenter doing a lot of damage. Katju is dead, so is the Elder Titan, but we're not done just yet. Irving, ready to go, tries to retreat towards his wall, didn't quite work out. Another nice little burst strike here. Ember super low, but Blood is now completely out of spells, out of mana, but once is not. Gets a couple of crits in. Actually needs some help, but he's not getting it. The rest of his team's dead.
Oh no, what? That early Sand King Blink Dagger just turned all of LBZS plans around. And that is extremely unfortunate for them because they had a good pick-off opportunity going there. They have a pick-off game that they need to play. And with the opportunity of a Sand King Blink counter initiation coming in, well, we just saw the devastating effect.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. They were not expecting that at all. Arrow follow-up not there, and there's a couple of TPs in now. They want some revenge, and Blood's still super low right now. A couple more right clicks will do the trick, and there it is. The snipe from Zhao Fu will finish him off. They do lose Katju for it. This game's certainly very spicy. CDEC
it is. Once is the big winner, though.
Oh yeah. Having the time of his life up there.
Mm-hmm. Wishing going full carry build here. No Abatos. I think that's for the better. Like, you're not necessarily looking to get that momentum going anyway. You have other heroes to do that for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like if 4 of your teams already wants to play, if they already want to play so aggressively, like and you've no one farming anywhere, it's a bit of a waste. That being said, Wishing did make the rotation up top for this tier 1 tower. Epicenter being channeled up though. Blink Burst Strike coming in into the follow-up arrow. That's very tanky tiny, but is he tanky enough? Well, tanky enough to turn us around. He even gets to what? He gets to live? There's no way.
Wow.
Tanky enough as it turns out, down bottom at the same time, they can't even get the trade for free. Beyond has to stick around, another stun, and now trying to run away before the bug can connect and prevent it. But can you really run away from 2 spirits? There's the chains coming in, follow up from Katju, and guess what? There's also the Ink Swell, so even with the stomp coming through, Beyond cannot keep running. Will get brought down, once finishes up Zhao Fu's courier? Okay. Not sure how that happened. I think it was running through mids because they TP'd bottom. Or that's always a bit awkward.
Yeah, very possible.
Yeah. Damn, yeah. LBZS getting a couple of good things going their way.
Keeping the center off of that bottom tower is very important. It's a couple of minutes on the timer there where CDEC is going to have that diminished farming space, whereas you still have all of the map. And LBZS is taking a ton of stacks right now as well.
Yeah. Making some of his own inside the main jungle. Wishing, slowly working away on these ancients. Still, CDC heavily favored by Dota Plus. Okay.
I'm guessing it's because the PA is a late gamer. Like, Dota Plus in general favors that, and she is having a good game. Normally, I wouldn't be so worried about that because, you know, well, it's a PA, she's not going to come online anytime soon. But the item timings that LBZS hits here are not going to be as hard. I'm not sure it's going to enable them to take over the game as much as is required, especially not when Blood is still on the prowl.
First strike here, arrow follows up, but there's plenty of help here. Nice little stomp to slow them down, and the stampede just to get them out though. And Katyu still hunting. The roll connects over onto Blood. Super low, sticks up. Another remnant forward. They really want to punish the Sanking, and they will be able to. Katyu gives his life for the cause, but so much use to that. Vacuum into the wall. Tiny's right there with the AoE. Goodbye, Elder Titan. Beyond, he's out of resources right now. He cannot run. He can stomp, but he cannot live. 3-for-1 exchange, and well, starting to play Dota, Kips.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit surprised. Like, I'm leading into that Sand King knowing that he's going to do something, but at the same time, while he's doing that, I'm wondering why. The last time he engaged into LBZS, it didn't go off well. His fight condition does really seem to be sitting back and counter-engaging. They have a great lineup for that. They have an Elder Titan sitting back and Mirana sitting back. Everybody profits from already being able to see what LBZS is up to. And I do believe that they have the late game as well.
Quite get the chains over on once.
What I'm saying is, what's the rush, Blood? Because you're a Sand King and you know you're not going to scale very well, because that's true. But you don't need to scale, you get your PA for that.
Arrow on one, they are looking to finish up one. That's Zhao Fu, he's dead. Katyu also kind of low here, the roll. Being tanked up, still inside that Sandstone. Blood will get that kill. This time LBZS overstaying their welcome, not finding that initial jump, and now being jumped on again. X though, a way to prevent him from remnanting out of there.
Counter engage. Yes. Looks pretty good.
They actually get that the burst strike this time, but they can connect all of that with a couple of people here into the arrow once again. Last time they tried this, it didn't work out for them. Now the TP in, there's Vacuum all available. Wishing still alive with all of them put together, and Axe try and bring them down. Wishing will finally go down to Mirana, but at what cost, Kips? At what cost?
Why did they keep doing this? I thought they just got it, and they demonstrate that they don't.
Go on the tankiest hero. They
did get him. They did get him, and they're keeping the brawls going. Like, technically, of course, this is the way to play it. When you have the late gamer, you just keep him away. You keep on fighting, but in this case, I think you're still going to be getting fights just because that is LBZS's kind of draft here. They want to pick off. They're not going to come siege your tower. I think you're going to get the fights under much more favorable conditions. Again, if you just let them move up a little bit.
Yeah, let them come into you. You have plenty of team fight to, as you said, just counter-initiate, just defend your towers by all means. But you're playing into their hands if you go into them. You give them all the information that they need to find the right spells in the right areas.
Yep. And it's basically the same the other way right now as well. It's normally it's like, okay, whoever engages first wins. In this case, it's whoever engages first loses. But I feel like it's beneficial for CDEC because they have that PA going to just sit and wait. Of course, the Darkseer is going to farm a lot. There's a lot of options for the rest of LBZS to get their farm up as well. It is definitely possible for them to get all three cores running in a way that you're never really going to be able to because your Centaur and your SK don't scale as well as their cores do.
Yeah.
But perhaps at least those heroes of yours would be in a better position if you didn't keep throwing them at the enemy. It's a rough call to make though.
Yeah, it kind of
is. A lot of it comes. It just comes down on your judgment of the late game and how you're going to arrive there.
Yeah.
If you're going to arrive there.
definitely imagine LBZS running away with this game as well. If you like, if you play defensively, if you just play the farm game, you run into the problem sometimes. We just spread out too much across the map, and you're not ready for these kind of rotations right there. We just get a pick off, then the tower goes down, and LBZS just get the ball rolling. And it's not like they are. Not like when we say late game, we don't mean just 25-30 minutes, right? Because this is where LBZS still can be very strong. Like Ember Spirit is not insignificant damage output eventually, and certainly not the tiny. Like if you vacuum all of them together into a tiny combo, I mean, there's plenty of DPS on the side of LBZS, and yeah, can definitely see some concern for CDC there. Maybe the idea is, alright, if we take these brawls on the other side of the map, at least they won't be able to just restrict the farming space afterwards all that much. As long as one survives, it will be fine. But that might be a bit of an issue right now. Reveals himself down bottom. With a roll in, another one to follow. Nothing she can do. Poor Phantom Assassin. That's the one hero that you cannot afford to lose all that much.
Bit of a misjudgment there. Very good patience from LBZS to just keep on sitting there waiting for a hero to present itself. They were thinking it was going to be the Sand King, and instead they get a nice little bonus.
Yeah. So the team smoked up now on the other side of the map. Reveals himself in mid, but it's very defensive. But still potentially intercept them. Try and bait out for this Invis rune. None of which will happen.
Ooh, don't find a sentry. That's 2 sentries spent to defend that 1 ward, neither of which have found the actual enemy sentry.
Whoops.
Now it's LBZS's turn.
Classic deep drop and Kips moment. Saying the same thing at the same time. But yeah, they're not gonna find anything either. It's tier 1 still standing in the off lane, so eventually they'll beat a trade. Wishing takes care of that. Starting to chunk through towers quite a bit with that. I forgot the name now. Echo Saber. There you go.
Echo Saber, yeah. He's got Echo Saber S and Y. It's extremely hard to take him down right now, especially with the fact that CDEC need to chain their disables neatly in order to get anything done, which is made a lot harder by the status resist.
Yeah. Still a very even game net worth wise, but the distribution is a bit of a favor of LBZS perhaps. Supports don't need a ton of money. They don't have a ton of money, so a lot of it is concentrated on these 3 cores.
One's just flying into BKB now. This is a pretty good time for CDC. I think they're going to smoke with that. Yep.
Could catch LBZS with their pants down here a little bit. If not, then they can get the tier 1 tower in mid, perhaps.
Bit unfortunate that they all got so close to the creep wave. Single-sided fish just took off their entire smoke.
Whoops. It's either that or the water is lava and they just can't cross the river.
Possible. It's certainly, like, going into the river certainly seems to kill a lot of people, so.
Especially around this mid lane, if you go into the river in mid and then just go off to either side, that's a river of death right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're funneled, right? You have to go north or south, up or down the river, and it's very limiting. Only people die.
With the loss of that smoke, also means that CDC hasn't actually managed to get any aggressive vision down. So right now, vision advantage is once again for LBZS, who didn't find anything with their previous smoke either, but they did get to put some vision down.
Deep ward inside the dire triangle, very neat one here. Like, you can scout out some of these rotations, and it's not necessarily easy to de-ward this one at this point. It seems a lot harder to de-ward in general these days, with the sentry radius being lowered. That being a bit more open, a bit more more areas where we can get equivalent vision. Have to run him down now. Goodbye Elder Titan, presumably here.
This could be a counter engage though, no? Dies too fast.
Damn time, and now the swing off to the left. Get someone else here would be big. Mirana right there, but no chains, actually missing them off the vision, I believe. As okay, they're just going a little bit too deep perhaps here. Catchu is very dead, but the BKB on the Ember Spirit, they're just cutting through them. What's happening? What? They're all dead? They're all dead. Mirana, we're trying to save the Mirana. She gets to live the longest, but she just falls apart too. What the hell?
Inside the wall versus a tiny, several ion shells going at the same time.
Not even the ion shells. Daxi did not do a lot of damage. It was just the Ember and the tiny.
Just all the cleave, huh?
3.5k on Wishing, 2.5k damage on X there in that fight. It was all together with Maelstrom procs, with that cleave damage. He does have that shard now, so he has the permatree. Will also help them chunk through towers.
Yeah, I guess you don't have to hit the PA. You can just hit her teammates.
Oh. Funny how that works out. That's certainly not something that CDC were hoping for there.
Definitely not. That was 2 of their BKBs, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
No, they only have 1, so it's just a PA BKB. And she didn't get to do anything whatsoever. And so it turns out it's not even a damage problem. It's a getting to live problem.
So, okay. Another freebie. This is how the last fight started. Now they're all making a beeline, trying to get the hell out of there under the tier 2 tower. But the rolls, the remnant forwards, they're there. Very hard to get away from this team of LBZS. Well, that Shadow, I believe, the first time this game that we really noticed it.
I've had several other engagements with it.
Okay. I somehow didn't ever take note of it.
As an observer, it's kind of easy to miss because the heroes don't disappear like they do for the players.
Exactly.
I think it's one of the few cases where it's beneficial to have your own camera movements and being able to toggle that vision on and off.
Yeah. Well, all said and done, LBZS able to find a couple of good picks. Straight into the Roche pit. This Tiny is very scary now.
Yeah.
With the DD. Half duration left, so they won't necessarily be able to get kills with it, but they won't get the tower either, so they don't have creeps, unless they can just, nah. His attack speed is not big enough. If he if he had more attack speed, he could easily bring down this tower through backdoor, but alas, it was not to be.
This Tiny is absolutely huge. There's no way in hell the PA has enough damage for him, especially not with the Ion Shell on him. Darkseer has the Aghanim Scepter, so that's a nice chunk of extra HP for the Tiny as well. And man's just sitting at a casual 27 armor.
7 plus 3, or 3 plus 27 is in range of that Greaves.
Disgusting.
It's very hard to kill in the first place, let alone twice, so CDC, they have to find something else to do here once. Farm that's on the map is very dangerous.
Very dangerous indeed.
Trying to pull them apart, trying to push out one side lane, make them rotate in there, and then go the other, and trying to restore control of the jungle. That last part not really working out well. Mirana forced to leap away from this one. But yeah, the clock is ticking. At some point, LBZS in the next 3 minutes, they'll find a wave. They'll find an engagement up high ground.
And normally this is where I'd say, alright, but you know, this is CDC, they have an Elder Titan for the high ground defense. The enemy will have to go into the choke point. The problem really is that here Tiny has no base armor. You're not actually going to get that much more damage out, because all of his armor is extra.
Maybe that extra magic damage, you know, from that, but... okay. Catch you. Rolling a bit too far, perhaps. Maybe he's just baiting them out. Vacuum back in. They link together. Blood with the BKB. Epicenter kind of being used. Maybe being wasted, perhaps. Wishing is dropping low, but it still has that Aegis burst strike across. He really wants to use it right now, and he gets to. Sleep to the arrow. Don't have the damage anymore. He just picks up a tree, starts hitting the tower. 30 more seconds. There's no buyback here on this. Oh god, what the hell happened there? Blood.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say is the problem is that Blood doesn't have BKB anymore. And Blood is really their damage output right now, just keeping the Sandstorm on people. If he gets to keep the Sandstorm on people, there's an opportunity for CDC to fight, but he can't. There's a sentry down. And he is too darn squishy.
So melee racks down, LBZS not overcommitting here, not just overstaying their welcome after using that Aegis. Instead, they're going for the old fake back, or at least thinking about it for a second. Jason from Blood, not sure about this one here. Katju has his own BKB. Doing that and Wishing just hitting super hard, he just disappears.
He was basically on his own out there. You could see the rest of CDEC saying, no.
Yeah.
Thank you, but no.
It's another 35 seconds now where there's no sanking. They might not know that there's not a buyback. I don't know. This game seems to have fallen apart from CDC after that one big team fight that they lost for all their base.
That was absolutely disastrous. And I can see why they took it. And I can also see why they took those earlier fights. It just seems like they're really in between a rock and a hard place here. And have been all game.
Okay, this looks a bit weird here. Katju still alive, Beyond forced to run away. Mirana already dead though in the back. Dex was able to bring him down. Another remnant forward, just showing off that fancy new Aghanims. But, oh, the chains over to the side. Blood though, with the BKBs coming back and forth. X will be able to walk it off. Buyback and Mirana as well. You'd think he'd be a bit more careful because he has the gem, but that's exactly what you need to bring down the Sand-King. This gets rumbled. Pick up the tree and gets initiated on the Beyond with a follow-up arrow. He's still pretty damn tanky. Glimmer Cape to keep him safe, and now the counter initiate from the rest of the team. X brings down one. Beyond next on the list, just nothing left to throw at them, and CDC, they have to call it. I did not expect them to be rumbled like this in game number 2. I mean, part of me always did, you know, considering that it is the classic LBZS Katju Earth Spirit. It's just exactly what we expected out from him at the very least in this game.
Yeah.
But,
and I think I understand better now why they make those desperate goes in the mid game. It's because, or sorry, in the late early game. It's because in mid game they do run out of damage over on CDEC, and they know that there's going to be this window, which we just saw for the side of LBZS, where there's just absolutely nothing they can do before they have their own BKBs, before the PA is well and truly a monster. She did get her items eventually, but at that point there were just no place to make anymore.
Yeah, she was the only one, and. Yeah, I mean, this Tiny was... He didn't have the perfect lane, like he didn't get every CS, but he got more than enough, like he was more or less His left to zone device.
This is the first counter engage from Blood, by the way.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, ideally you find more fights like this, right?
Yeah.
With that Blink Dagger. You don't necessarily have the most damage, but what's necessary for you is to be able to get them to fight into you, get them to fight into those sandstorms, for example.
This was already a miscalculation here. Wishing gets to live. And just great positioning throughout this entire game from LBZS. Like, they were always ready. After that first engagement with the Blink, they were always ready for this. Right? They were always ready for Blood coming in, initiating on one of them.
Yeah, and I think both I as well as CDEC underestimated the tankiness and the damage output of the Tiny.
And that combined with this relentless ability to chase, or the ability to chase relentlessly, maybe a better way to put it. You saw a couple of remnants being committed just to run down the Senking, like he was so far away from where he initiated. But he's still able to run down.
It's not one of those ill-informed engagements.
Oh, vacuum wall on 3. I mean, a couple of leaps forward, Murata gets the kill, but like I said at that time, at what cost? You lose 3 different heroes.
Yeah.
2 of them, of course.
I think maybe if you play this game again as CDEC, you focus down the supports instead. You have reach too. You have the ability to take down these backlines, but we never saw them engage in that. Alright, let's go. Tiny, cleave.
Just cleaving it down together with X there on the cover of Zone BKB.
Brutal.
This is where the game started to fall apart for CDEC. Takeoffs, the reach from LBZS, and just let's just go in. You can kill them. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of that. And,
third time that they don't have damage to kill the Tiny.
At least the third. He's still going towards X, and that's also another thing. He ended up at 13-2 after giving up first blood after having a terrible laning phase.
His laning could have definitely been much worse. Like, he recovered admirably immediately. It's not like he kept struggling. He just immediately was like, alright, I need to switch tactics hard.
Yeah. He joined up with his friends, like with the Grimstroke even at times, and with the Iron Shells as well. I haven't really talked about that, but obviously it's also one of these classic combos. Like, if you can maintain your Flame Gun, if you have the Iron Shell on top of you, you just do so much damage just sticking on top of people. So, yeah, LBZS just perfectly executing this kind of aggressive playstyle.
Yeah, like if you're gassing it from their perspective as well, you can see that they have some reasons to maybe back off from time to time because they get counter-engaged upon a bunch of times and it doesn't feel exactly great. But they just keep going. They know this is their window.
Who it was, and they took it. And with that, a very decisive 2 victory against CDEC. Seemed a little bit off today, maybe. On them, so very important game though. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. The kind of points that you can put on the board. Winning against CDEC here is certainly a big win for LBZS. That puts them at 4-1, 3-2. Both CDEC right there with Magma. And yeah, there's not a crazy amount of games left actually in this season for a lot of these teams. LBZS versus Phoenix actually next Sunday. We get to cast that one too, another baller, and yeah, Aries versus DS, Extreme versus Dragon, Dragon versus DS, some of these bottom half. I mean, you can look at Aries, maybe see how they develop, but I don't think they have a shot at making it.
Which is a shame.
Slots anymore. Yeah.
I think in playstyle, what I've seen from them, they are actually one of my favorites here. It's just that I don't think they can reach promotion anymore.
Yeah, I haven't done the math, but seems unlikely. Like, Phoenix seems to be a shoe-in at this point, 5-0. They've been looking very strong throughout this season. But yeah, after that, not too many more games that I have yet to be scheduled, just because we've been front-loading the lower division. in the first couple of weeks, with some of the upper division teams still being in quarantine after the major. So,
but what that does mean is that following up on this series, we are going to have 2 series of upper division.
that is true, and 2 pretty good ones, I believe. Aster versus Vici game. I mean, what games aren't good ones in the upper division? Let's be real. Aster versus Vici Gaming. Then PSG LGD versus IG. So they'll be over on the main channel in about an hour's time, I believe. Yeah. This series was pretty quick, so plenty of time for you to get breakfast. But do tune back in over on PWRD Esports 1 here on Twitch to or some more good Chinese Dota. For now, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast as much as we did, and well, see you next time.
今天的游戏的话呢是这个有2轮的游戏，同时惩罚还升级了。哦，上个赛季好像是因为说我们那个指压板大家觉得不过瘾，好像是。
这个赛季什么钉板吗？
钉板哦，一个钉子，
我掐口我上赛季没有踩过指压板，直接让我踩钉板，说不太。
你一次都没有踩过？
没踩过。
还有谁没踩过？
还有没踩过指压板的？
啊，没输过。
你这身体不行，我们这都踩过练过的
啊。我们这边的话，这个开始游戏环节，先介绍一下啊，选手猜猜猜。那我们第一个游戏环节是根据选手的作品回答出相应的问题，答对积1分，答错不积分。那么环节结束之后的话呢，积分会累积到我们的第2个环节，就是2个环节积分是累积的。而本轮积分第1的呢，可变身为主持人，就变成我。这个变身为主持人的话呢，就不进入到第2轮的一个比拼了。
这个对我不公平啊，
那有
看运气啊，这个是就是看那个选手画的画猜人，对吧？
但是你肯定还是有逻辑性在里面的。
他没说什么题吧？
之前弗莱拜画了骷髅王，这谁猜得到？
就他的题目也不知道什么样的，
运气也是实力的一部分嘛。
也是。
早知道有这个东西应该问一下，我忘了问了
啊。你有优势是吧？
但是我不知道是这个题。
我很好奇会不会有我上次画的那个东西。因为我觉得我画的还挺好的。
那不
你是选手，
我们是参赛选手，肯定不能有我们是选手呀。
啊，也有道理啊。好，那有请我们的工作人员将我们这个答题板先拿上来，好吧？感觉我们几个人站在一起聊的话，这个游戏都已经进行不了了。
哎，我们能不能把阵型给它搞一点弧度出来？要不然好像太紧了。
我感觉主要是因为我们站在这里的话，
我们主要穿的太正了，
太黑了，你知道吗？真的好像去参加 Free 干婚礼一样。希望这辈子有机会啊。
哦。肯定有机会的。题目
呢？准备好了吗？第一个问题。
完了呀！哎，这里还能加编导的吗？这有点太……
这都是蓝胖对吧？
不是这3个蓝胖。
编导，
我瞎了，我看不清什么东西。
要不我们这个环节改个名字吧，别叫猜猜猜了，叫蒙蒙蒙。
蒙蒙蒙。
我跟你说，这个是很考验理解的，兄弟们，我理解了，
我也理解了。
我已经选完了，你理解了吗？
我也选完了。
好，
我避免被抄，所以晚点写。
我也觉得。
不，我觉得第一个
这也太难了吧？
画工是最好的。
是的。
谁吃饱了没事情去练画画呀？除了编导，
有道理。
我也想到，
所以
我也这么想。
思路就是直接选 D。
不是这道题真的，他的思路很清晰。
是的。
你想，蓝胖是什么？蓝胖代表了我们上一期的凡尔赛节目 cos 了，对不对？然后这个选手画的画呢，我们是之前在第1个赛季前画的，谁会去画蓝胖？
就是。
那所以说大概率应该是编导呀。所以说选 C 啊。
选 D 呀。
展示吧。
展示吧。
应该是 D 吧
，C
这个 D 应该没什么问题啊。
谁的？
我是以画工来说，我觉得
第一个肯定不是选手画的吧？
真第后2个专业
是啊，
真的吗？
编导吧？
没必还能画成这样？
你看，我就说是 maybe 画的吧，虽然说后2个我猜错了，但是
意思全错呗。
maybe 有这水平吗？
没人打 A 吧？
那我就说第2个是XXS 画的吧？
啊，他的这个画工有清单了。
所以编导是干扰项，这写的居然没有编导。
没事啊，没拉开差距。
分析了呀。
maybe
那为啥要把这个编导加上呢？这个编导是真的
干扰项，
有点啊。
小组赔钱。
XCT 是谁
？XCT 是
XCJ 吧
？XCJ 吧，我也感觉 XCJ。
我觉得首先应该能排除 A 吧。这个 A 画的有点比 B、C、D 画的好太多了。
那我觉得反而有可能是他
，A 可能是编导。
不是那个 D 是电脑画的。
你想，他要画小猪佩奇，他肯定是对小猪佩奇有自信才会画小猪佩奇的呀。我觉得要么是 A，要么是 D。
全靠运气。
我觉得一定是 B。
缩短时间啊，赶紧选啊！
我觉得一定是 B。
交卷吹风硬要说
他已经画好了，给你们10秒钟时间，赶紧想。
我也选个 B，
这个时间不能想太久。
对，我只能蒙一个了呀。
这只能是 B，来吧。
这种运气的，
来亮答案啊！
我明牌告诉你，我选了 A 啊，
我选的 B，我觉得是最简单的，
粉色的一个黑色的就选个黑色的。
他画这个他肯定有自信的呀，他怎么可能画一个自己没自信的东西
啊？
另外
大概是什么东西画的？
神画出来的。
我蒙了个 C
啊！怎么样？
哎呦，老八可以啊！
我这个脑回路对上了。
不是这些选手的画工这么好吗？
我有点低估他们了，
低估了的话，
我已经掌握这个游戏玩法，
草率了，
运气不
草率了，
不是我的领域。
下一题开始往好的里面猜。哎呦，
哎呦，
哎呦，
这是天安门吗？
我爱北京天安门，天安门上太阳。
所以不是，这主要就没有什么参考呀，你就让我纯猜吗？
这个题其实还是有一些信息。
哦，
这4个选手有哪个是北京的呀？
我告诉完答案之后才能告诉你的信息。
哦，我告诉你选 C，
他们好像没有北京的。
还有个歪撇是谁
？Y点。
歪队啊。
应该啊。职业圈除了 maybe 还有是北京的吗？
印象不是很深了。
这个我也偏。
大家都是兄弟嘛，四海之内皆兄弟嘛。
遇事不决。
哎，我觉得应该是这个，好吧
？3个英文名，1个中文名，
都准备好了没？
选 B 选 B 啊，
选 D，
选的是 A 呀，
选 D，
我选的是 D 吧
？OK，
是什么脑回路？
是你跟我2个人想到一起了啊。
3个英文名，1个中文名，肯定选中文名啊。
我觉得圣子华恋他的性格是属于那种就是比较就是做这种不是特别正经的事情的时候比较认真的。
因为之前我们已经展示过一次圣子华恋的画了。
哎，你来说一说你选这个 A 的
画了一个，
因为我们已经看过别人的画了，在往期的节目里。
就另外3个你都看过了，但是第1个你没看过
，1、2没看过，3 CD 看过了。
有没有可能？
所以一个人可以画2幅，
他们新画
都是新画的呀。哎呦，我不知道这个信息啊，
我也不知道，刚得知。
我要这些信息干嘛？
我以为可以参考历史信息，
猜就完事了。这有啥东西？
这幅出自 Face 边的作品，其含义为。
这有啥玩意儿？
我有答案了。
那个 MACACONDO 那是什么东西啊？
还真没看过。
这不是啾的那个噔噔噔噔噔噔噔？
哎，这个我记得我在哪里看到过，就是相关的东西。
你这么一说，我就猜一个。
哎呀，这就是这个嘛，我已经知道是啥了。
啾，我懂了。我懂了。
想起来了吗？
我懂了，
毕竟是学过英文的啊。
没，就是因为看过啾呀。
我没看过
啾都没看过，有点
难受了，
有点懵了。
太难了，现在这题都
完了，我应该是第2轮直接
此曲一出，非死即伤，
直接指压板了。
准备好了没？
等一下，我有了。
不是你这么晚答题的不算吧？
你这个也忒晚了。
谁
跟 C 没关系，应该是 C 吧？
如果是跟啾有关，肯定是 C 啊。
哇！不是，你们不就是 Face 边有拍过一个视频呀？
对，我觉得他比较爱看书。
不是，他那个视频就是去书店里面，然后好像就是还举了这本书。
对，我就蒙了个书。
到点了，
确实
只有 D 这个答案里面是没有其含义为。
所以说到底有几个人答对了？
我答对了。
我答对了。我这轮
你们2个人
我和 A 答对了。
啊，那我
有这个作品。
很抽象啊，
太这个是查理斯的一个那个对吧？
标志
就是这个，
就我们之前那题目里面
雅克西，
但是是谁画的呢？
也没他的队友呀。
那
有没有可能他自己呢？
那只能是他了呀。
吃饱了画自己啊，你让你画你会画自己吗？
可能刚好吃饱呀。
不是，
我就选他自己。
可能是编导给他提的要求呀，你画这个比较好。
这个概率
这么说，有本事你别选 C，
我就选 C，
我也就选 C， 不是
我也都选 C， 拉不开差距了呀。
那要不你
谁委屈
你别选 C，
委屈一下，
不行那不行
啊！你不能选 C，
我肯定是选 C 了，我肯定是重新出发的。
查理斯画自己，
我这已经积分无限落后了，只能选不一样的。
我也是 C，
我都选 C。
不是，我觉得有可能是 A， 谁能画查理斯？肯定查理斯肯定画查理斯呀。
对呀，
完了，
主要是这3个跟你一点关系。
我没有分，
伤了，
没办法，
终于答对一个，
只能这样啊！都选 C 的得不到分。
这道题
没关系，反正我领先呀。
感觉
一共几题啊？
不知道呀。这幅作品出自哪位选手？
这没有 emo 吗？
这不是 A 就是 B 呀。
我也感觉。
哎，我知道。
那我觉得这道题我要用反逻辑来击败你们了。
这道题我知道。
这道题我要用反逻辑。
这道题还知道？
对，因为我有逻辑。这道题我是有逻辑的，
我也有点逻辑，
我都有逻辑了是吧？
我有点逻辑啊，我可以讲逻辑。我确实不知道答案，
我没逻辑，但是我有反逻辑。
来，
我就觉得菲菲最近比较狂。
DPC，
我觉得菲菲
D，
漂亮。
哎，我是随便猜的，
我的逻辑是 IDC 这个人的性格，就 IDC 是什么意思？就是 I don't care， 无所谓。他这个问号就很嘲讽。
哦，
有道理。
我的逻辑是只有7答
啊，对，我也是想了这一个点了，你知道吧？
这问号不能是卡卡给 emo 画一个吗？
没有我这个积分，
不能是菲菲给 emo 画一个吗？
还出子，那不排除查理斯了吗？对吧？这肯定没有查理斯。
那我觉得
查理斯也可能
画2副呀。
我不信。
这个题。
有答案了呀，那有答案了呀，不是？但是查理斯队友有2个，
按照我的逻辑，
你是查理斯，你自己会画这个吗？
应该是，
有道理，
对吧？
我懂了，那就很好猜，
那就应该是
那就很好猜啊。
就这种题目千万不要用逻辑猜，你用逻辑猜都猜不对，
那
应该
直接纯蒙。我跟你说，
那你前面查理斯
纯蒙，
你前面查理斯，
我前面
不就是按逻辑猜？
那你纯蒙
2选1的题，
那纯你感觉在晃点啊。
我选好，
你已经亮出来了，
我也亮了，
我选的 B，
我也选的 B，
我也选的 B，
这不就是逻辑题吗？
这是纯蒙也是蒙的。
我感觉大概率
意思是就我会，
我觉得
这个大概率是废的呀。
哎，我今天这个果然猎人不跟猎物玩的时候，猎物一点机会都没有。
废的呀？
为
啥是呀？
因为他保的是个 宝的啥意思呀？
小精灵，
这是小精灵吗？
是
小精灵呀，
那个心呀，就是小精灵至宝呀，
根本看不出来这是个心啊，兄弟。
小精灵，
我觉得不是 C 就是 D，
得是个会玩精灵的吧？
那不一定呀。
那你别选 CD 呀，
你管他这么多，弄就完事了。
选 B 呀，
再来一次 D。
我觉得是我选的这个，好吧？虽然我没什么道理。
我这
个就没有道理，靠蒙呀，2选1。
对啊，我跟你讲，
这能有啥道理？
今天就让你见识一下什么叫强运型选手。就我选了 A， 对不对？
就我选了，
我其实有点想选 B 的。
我也选 B。
什么叫强？
这么选 D 的？
萧瑟啊，果然，
你萧瑟学长呀，
果然是 CD 2选1啊，
前辈。
我跟你说，这个 D 没对过，好吧？
不是，所以说你看今天这个题就是有逻辑的呀。
什么逻辑？
你刚才就是 CD 2选1啊。对吧？不是你刚才那天逻辑就是 CD 2选1，
你不去炒股可惜了，兄弟。中国股市少了你。
苹果
有什么说法吗？
苹果有什么说法？
它这像不像一箭穿心啊？但是穿的也不是心，穿的
就没什么逻辑。
它那片叶子有没有像个 Q？
新 Q， 有道理啊。
中间是个红心，上面有个 Q，
这种东西你给我讲逻辑，我是第一个不信的，好吧？
我有一点点逻辑啊，
我肯定不信你的逻辑，我只能靠猜了。
来了啊，
对吗？
我这道题也读出来了，
我有 C 的逻辑啊。
你 A
杨居然会把
有人选 B 吗？这题有人选 B 吗？
没有人选 B，
全都选错。
哎，你讲讲你的逻辑，来，是在你啊，是。
刚刚不是说了吗？一个红心，然后上面有一个 Q， 这不是新 Q 吗？
你是不是想到上赛季那道题？什么
上个赛季的题？
一个购物车里放了一张牌是红心。
我们是不是最后一题了？应该是最后一题了吧？
这就最后一题，我才对了一题。
不是，这也能？
这是东风神话的，是不是？
这个我知道是谁
啊，这肯定是这个了。
哎，
肯定是这个，
肯定是
这个
我就是拒绝者吧，我太了解他。
哎，我也太了解他了。
这应该是送分题吧？
我也太了解他了。
我太了解。
这个题你们有人有逻辑吗？
有啊，
我确定100%。
而且我已经写好了，你看一下，你跟我写的是不是一样？
我能答对，但是我没有逻辑。
我看看你跟我写的是不是一样？我写好了，
这应该肯定是这个呀，因为其他3个答案明显不对啊。
对呀，这拒绝者能说出来的话，你想一想，
要不我跟分之一演绎一下当时这道题怎么出出来的？
啊，可以。
对啊，我是编导。哎，拒绝者，你画这个一是
不是？人家这个老逼，他妈左看一下，右看一下，
什么就是什么。
你快点，你快点，
对出来了，
你快点。
不是你们这
整快点，
我不选 D 不就好了吗？
整快点，这个画面都演绎出来了。
不会不是 D 吧？
不会是 A 吧？
不会是
啊？我就感觉有一点 A 的，
我也没写对，
就你无根重新演绎一下。
来，你们再演绎一下。但是他们是怎么演绎的？
拒绝人是这个意是什么意思？
你觉得他是什么？你看我们2个1分的演绎的确实有点问题。我给你还原一下他俩呀，
没意思
呀。
不是我们俩
正确的演绎应该是啊，这个没有
优势
啊，我有啥优势啊？
运气好呀
，1分惜败。
哎，当猎人不想跟猎物玩的时候，猎物没有任何机会。
主持人嘛。
啊，对啊，干我的活吧。行吧，那我们这一轮的这个题目和得分都已经出来了，我现在是第1名，所以说我继续扮演我这样的一个角色。然后刚刚最后1名是谁？
我有2个同分。
能不能先把这个板先放一下啊？先放到这边吧。
怎么了？现在我们俩就看
你们2兄弟是要上板了呀？
我先看一下好吧，因为我们这边比赛比较紧凑，我刚刚中间其实我也没有看过这个凡尔赛的一个内容。
现在应该没有惩罚了。
说不定呢，
应该是最后有惩罚。
好，那么我们这边恭喜7-8以积分第1的身份成为主持人。恭喜我自己，恭喜我自己。
你说积分第2，你需不需要一个副主持
啊？我不需要，我一个人够了。好，那我可以不参与到我们下一轮的一个比拼了。
你也可以参与呀。
啊，我不参与了，我不参与了。
要不参与一下吧？
我不参与了，独乐乐不如众乐乐，参与
对吧？
啊，都让我参与。
对啊，对，你这么自信的呀？
独乐乐不如众乐乐。
我想一下，就我参与以后会不会破坏游戏平衡？我参与以后你们就完了。
我也不会吗？你问一下，有人会觉得是破坏吗？你们这些人
肯定不会。
那我参与了以后没人主持了呀？
你一边参与
边主持呀？
不是你不知道我们这第2个环节内容是什么？
如果你
我先介绍一下。
对，
我先介绍一下游戏规则。我们这边第2轮的一个游戏规则叫做憋笑大挑战。憋笑大挑战的游戏规则是所有选手嘴中含50毫升的水，然后同时来观看这个搞笑片段。每个视频计分1次，喷水、漏水都为失败。然后每次憋笑成功者加1分，然后喷水不加分。
那
这个好难啊！
那喝水算失败吗？
肯定算
啊，就是
算
也不能喝掉，
你不能咽下去。
哦，
我随时会检查你们嘴里的水啊。
怎么检查？
啊？就手指头探进去看一下是不是嘛？那不然我怎么检查吧？我还把
要笑的时候把头扬起来，然后水就
从鼻子里面倒灌出来了。
憋笑是吧？
啊，对的。 就所以说这个环节是要我主持的，我没有办法参与到你们这样一个游戏。
憋笑不含水不行吗？非得含水吗？
要道具上来了，我们的道具啊，工作人员有请来把我们这个人道具准备好啊。这杯子其实也是准备了5个，
这50毫升还是很精准啊。
这太专业了吧？
真的。
来，我给大家介绍一下我们这边的道具啊。这个杯子就是给大家用来50毫升的这样一个，
不笑了吧？
就是一个量杯，然后同时这个是干什么用的呢？就是如果说你到最后那一口水不是一个环节结束之后你要把它咽下去嘛，你咽不下去了，你可以到这个吐到这里面。
那我有疑问
啊，
就是能不能换个大点的？我怕不够我们几个人吐。
哦，这一杯才50毫升，我换大点的，我害怕最后惩罚是你喝不下去啊。
A 喝进去就是50毫升，不是 A 喝进去是50毫升，但是他吐出来不一定是50毫升，你懂吧？
啊，有可能，有道理，有道理。好，那游戏规则已经了解了，对吧？然后我们这边道具的使用方法已经了解了，对吧？啊。然后一人选瓶水呗，你不会指望着我帮你们扭吧？
可以。
来，
这是选个水，选个杯呗。
对，
自己满上是吧？
自己给自己满上。
我来给你满上。
看好50毫升啊！
我给你灌一个。
50毫升啊，还好没满。50毫升的话就是2/3
刻度那儿。
嗯。
这么多？
怎么着，兄弟们先干一个。
先走
先走一个。
这
为了什么呢？
我眯一口。
我能问一下视频多长吗？
不知道。I don't know。
不是，我们什么时候可以吐出来呢？就是一个
视频结束之后，
就
它结束应该会有一个很明显的节点。
它是一个
每个视频喝1次水，明白吗？
那你说吧，你让我们一起喝，然后一起看视频吧。
好吧。那么你们已经准备好了吗？我们工作人员跟我说一下准备好了没有？
先来一杯润一下。
你们对这个项目平时有你们看过那个视频没？
我每天笑，
就是有很多那种憋笑的挑战。
对，但是我不太行，我看别人
都不太行，有没有人觉得自己比较强的？
我看别人的时候，我觉得不好笑
啊！
我还没看，我已经在笑了，怎么办？
万一要都不笑，
不是？但是我觉得这个问题最大难度不在于视频能不能让我笑，我就怕我没笑，旁边他笑了，他在那憋的让我想笑。
也有
那别看我，
但你会发出声音的。
先准备好了没？赶紧拿水把你的嘴堵住，开始是吧？一口闷。下回我们是不是可以找一些酒类赞助商？你漏了没？没漏是吧？没漏归队啊。没漏归队啊！现在不能说话了啊！养金鱼呢，看看杯子里面怎么样，检查一下。哎，行，可以，表现不错啊，几位。那我们准备好的话，可以来放第一个视频了。
野生的尴尬人非常好辨认，在幼崽时期就会展露出尴尬技能。
哦，真爽，随便笑。来了吧，已经。
我打可以。
你本人能跳到这个岛？
我不能重新跳呀，因为我从这就
哎呀，尴尬人竟是我自己。哎，都没有喷出来是吧？
但是我们笑了呀，笑了不就输了吗？
是的。笑了跟喝下去都不行。刚刚笑了的谁？你笑了对不对？
笑了。
然后刚刚还听到施丹妮笑了对不对？然后你们3个是没笑的是吧？麦德跟 A 还有这边的新郎官没笑。可以咽下去了。请喝。
不是你不能放我的视频。对，我觉得就是放视频的时候，破防了呀。你要看我们谁笑了啊。喷是一个那个
我主要沉浸在那个实在是太沙雕了那个画面。来，我盯着你们好吧？来，
哎，一共几个视频？我喝不动。
我不知道哎。
别靠10个视频啊！
不然为什么给你们准备这么大缸呢？你以为
就一个立定跳远能翻成那样子，多少是有点逆天的啊！
不是，当时我自己都以为他是在演，都以为他故意的，不是演。
关键是能翻成那样，是有点逆天。
告诉我们喝和看吧。
好，都准备好了对不对？所以你们咽下去以后开喝。哎，我感觉我今天的权力有点大。好，那我们工作人员可以来准备一下这个第2个视频了。
可以吃完。
你看这个人主动接受惩罚。
先看一下现在脸的颜色，这是青椒，
不是辣椒。青椒不辣，不是那种朝天椒。
真辣，有辣椒籽。大家注意这个脸的颜色啊！我已经看到了耳根这儿已经开始红了，对，耳根这儿已经开始红了。哎呀，红润。导播不敢给你这么听是吧？赶紧！水！
想要水的人拿不到水。
这个能喝吗？
几位嘴里有水的人不敢往下咽。
来解辣，吃点洋葱解辣。风之翼东北人他老吃了，老解辣了，是不是？更辣了是吧？小米这老
不是你们这不是欺负老实人吗？谁说的？不是欺负小米老实人。
输没事，
不是你俩都是输家，还分什么输赢嘛？
痛苦面具，
哇，眼泪都流出来了。
痛苦面具。
哎，你吃块饼干或者把这个蛋糕吃了会解辣。
痛苦面。
我说不了话，兄弟。
好，可以。哎，都没笑，都没笑。那你们咽下去吧，喝吧。
就这
啊，这个确实。
我刚才好像。
不过小米同学
喝下去的原因在于含的有点累，很累，
是的，
对，有点含不动了。
我刚才干笑了一下，不算吧？应该，我也不知道。
讲道理，
你是冷笑了一下。
这题应该是越来越难才对啊。
对，
这个题
不是，主要是第一题实在是高度有点高了，
没有第一题
太傻掉了。
我还是那种，我以为是那种网络搞笑视频。
我要重新定义一下，刚刚那个第一道题的分一翻成那样子，这不是多少有点脑。希望没有时间脑。
来，干了。为了分追那一跳，10年脑血栓瞬间就疏通了，啪一下顶穿。准备好了吧？来，我们看一下视频。感觉好像
每个人身边总有一些又菜又爱玩的朋友，他们的行为总是让自己陷入尴尬的境地。
麦德出局了啊！哇，麦德喷的挺远啊，喷射战士。好。施丹你也出局了啊！没了。啊，行，那你们2个人这一轮扣分了。
我跟你说
啊，
那段要是放声音的话，我包你全受住。
哪一段？
就我放那段。
你没有耳返吗？
我没
有声音啊，有声音。你聋了是不是？
我耳返没电。
你们把耳返电了？
没电啊！不是，那你把你声给我扭大一点，你这个太占便宜了。
没电。
我跟你讲，
没电了。
你那首歌词唱出来的时候，
电池我给换一下。
然后
我给你换一下，不行。
不是这个人耍赖啊！耳返没电了那玩的。
我不是卖的这个，一看就是属于那种没见过世面的。
就是
吧？我们
那天我们唱歌的时候你不在对不对？
是的，
跟我们参加活动少了。啊，有
大世面，大世面见的太少了。
麦德那一下，感觉是刚才那段冲击力最强的一波。
麦德一下子喷，差点把我们那个镜头给喷飞。
不是他为什么会最后出现分身这种画面？
倒多了，你喝了不完了吗？你这
喝不下了呀！
你这格局是真的小啊！这 A 之前呢，我们在那边想说把这个鞋子合成什么高级道具 ，A 来了一个大草鞋，
我们这飞碟大飞碟 ，A 来了个大草鞋，格局就这样的。
还有几题我也
大树枝、大草鞋，
喝了口水。
后面格局小啊！我的视频吧，
不是这是个什么环节？就是不停的喝水呗。
看主要是没我，
看上去是憋笑，其实是让你喝水。
对，我就感觉我输了赢了，我都在喝水。
50毫升其实也还好。
建议下次换成酒啊。
上回我们在西雅图 ，A 哥一个人喝了差不多2箱水，开什么玩笑呢？这水对 A 哥来说，来喝。我也有点渴，走，啥意思啊？就这，就这，就这肯定不行啊！下一题，能喷我不喷，哎，就是玩儿。这人在干嘛？你们俩出局了，不是他在干嘛？我不是很理解，
这不知道在干嘛。
不是，他那个是自动洗手液。
那为什么他要去舔呢？
他手去了，没出来。
我没笑呀，我喝完了呀。
不，这是人的干的是吗？
多少个逆天的人？我还见过一个更搞笑的，我以为是那个。
这更搞笑的是什么？
更搞笑就是中间有更多，他拿更多的东西去。
还有视频吗？
应该还有吧？
还有。
你想给你们这么多瓶水
啊？
我都在打。不会一人喝2瓶吧？
喝完呀。
我在打嗝了啊！
刚刚是那个分追一跟施丹尼是吧？
感觉间隙的时候要笑一笑。
他们计气的分数，我好像没笑过啊。
是不是只有我跟你还没笑？
不是，我觉得不够严格，就是麦的那个明显已经嘴角上扬了啊，就已经算笑了。
你要
这样吧？
这样 poker face。
不，就是嘴角上扬不行，你一定要笑出来才行。
我是
嘴角上扬，
等于我算是憋住了。
兄弟们干了！
我观察量太大了呀，干了。一杯敬自由，一杯敬远方。 来，远方的视频，走一个。
儿就是儿，我是我儿爹，我是我爹儿。
爹就是爹，儿就是儿，我是你爹。
好，重来，爹就是爹。
爹就是爹，儿就是儿，我是你爹。
刚才是小爷。
谁？麦德，我听到了啊，鼻息，你可以咽下去了，别憋了。不是这玩意儿能逗笑你吗？哎呦我的天，你的笑点是真的有点低啊，兄弟。
这个视频我没笑
啊，
我看麦德有点想笑。
不是，你都经历过这个脑机的洗礼了，还有这个10年脑积水的那个跳，这你也能笑出来？你真的有点不行啊，
很容易笑啊。
不是我也不知道为什么就
笑点很奇怪。
还有啊，
不行，
完了，感觉有点
没了，
看谁进度有点问题啊。
我感觉我们
来
这一瓶得干掉啊。
你们把我挤出去了，你们稍微让我进来一点。
来了啊，
我感觉刚刚那题每天都在发生啊，我是你爹。
啊，对，
每天
最主要是我们打刀他的时候，这个要不跟我学一遍。
哎，还没有说过吗？
啊，这个目前积分是安妮最后一个
啊。菲尔盖分最高啊。
我有耳返啊！我听见了，你听到了？你在我耳返里说我没有耳返。
我解释一下，刚刚我们这边导播说 A 没有耳返 ，A 说听到了，
对，
有的。
他在我耳返，
你不会是猜的吧？
啊！我这猜的能力是不是也太
有没有终极难题让我跟 A PK 一把的？我觉得这题我很难。
就是说 A 跟现在菲尔盖2个人是完全没效果的。啊，行，
这难度太低了，说实话。
等一下我挠你们。
来
啊，麦德已经干了啊，
再来，
干了，来。菲尔干这个很像我的中学化学老师，真的很像。我化学老师也从来不笑的。世界奇观龙吐水，老干阿石也出局了。你真的好像我的，看这个。
别着了呀！
哎呀，没笑。一个是我物理老师，一个是我化学老师，你们俩兄弟凑一块儿。
从小我的妈妈告诉我，春天的太阳早上家。
从小我的妈妈告诉我，哎，这个我，哎，你这个人，
不是这胜负心太重了，
太重了，
这么上瘾吗？
太重了，
不是，他真的就没有那种是让你控制不住的笑呀。
哦。
那你
有点实力啊，有点实力，有点实力。
我下次把这个毛巾拿着
多年德州练出来了。我当我all in了，我就不会笑了。
哎，可以。那现在为止的话，应该你还是最高分。
我跟 A 并列最高呀。
是没了是吧？
没了，不知道啊。我们还有人说
剩一口，正好剩一口。
那干了吧？
干了吧？
啊，
算了。
哎，我没有参与啊，所以说我现在的分
最弱的吧？
你是第1轮的分呀。
还有加赛
，2个9分的加赛，
我们
不是还有加赛，你们加
9分，
来吧，2个9分加赛。
是我们
喝满，倒满一杯
啊，量多少无所谓，关键看笑不笑嘛。
不够我给你加。
主要2个9分的啊，
差不多就60吧，好吧。
你们这样不笑，生活当中少了很多乐趣啊，你知道吗？
是，就 Fragan 当时的表情，我感觉首先脑血栓，好吧，就什么都反应不过来了，
多半要憋出点毛病来
像痴呆了。
这么严肃干嘛嘛，对吧？
来 PK 了啊
！A 的腿，这个表情我看着就想笑。
2个星星，星球崛起，
金刚大战哥斯拉。
他们虽然菜，但丝毫不妨碍他们的热情。
这个福尔干肯定不会笑的，
这个我们动不动就见一次。
对呀。
这也太逆天了吧！
沙漠。怎么还有我
？A 快不行了 ，A 快要破防了。
哎，你看我这唱的多好！
有。
微笑的像尘埃，漂浮在一片无奈。
缘分让我们
学学人家这个表情管理。
我没想到为了你我能疯狂到
好可爱。
山崩海啸为了你看板不相同，看板不相同。我没想到我的大脑脉搏心跳根本不重要。
还不笑？
不是，他把自己进入到一个脑溢血的状态，就已经没有反应。
这个你走，你看你咋你？
这不是奇葩。
莫乃特。
他们虽然菜，但丝毫不妨碍他们的热情。
你们两个是不是有问题？
不是你们两个入定了吗？
又平局了。你咽下去啊！好恶心啊！
实在咽不下去了。而且含的有点久。
不是，他俩真是有问题。
建议
建议再加赛一环节。
我是不可能笑的。
评分奖励吧，好吧，评分奖励吧，行吧，握手言和。
一个牛逼，
不是几个牛逼。
下次德州切磋一下。
天啊，脑淤血是不是？行，那我们这边刚刚这个环节的话，应该是决出两个最不会笑的，是吧？我们的这个 AA 还有菲尔盖。然后刚刚谁笑的最多？麦德老师啊，
肯定是麦德，
是你吧？
不是我分最，
麦德喷的最多呀。
没办法，我
史丹尼竟然比麦德分还低，
那是因为麦德猜的比我多。
我分也比他低。
这个是跟第一轮累计的，
累计的分数。
是。然后我们这边的话呢，是这个最终有一个惩罚，在于我们要踩这个指压板啊，积分倒数的第3名是踩指压板，然后积分倒数的第2名是踩指压板，并且要抽取这个蓝黄两啊，就是我们这边还有一个道具，那有请我们的工作人员先把这个桌子上面的东西先整理一下吧，好吧？
还有不一样的意思。
对，我们这个最后的惩罚环节还是略微有一点点复杂。我们来站前面，来有请到前面来。
你这不能带肚撞人啊！
其实刚刚那几个感觉都还好，没有说什么特别让人想笑的。
我觉得我最后那个
老陈这个表情管理有点受不了。
你在那点头是吧？
难道是我的问题？
我操！我刚刚在你脸上咬啊！老陈那个比较好笑，
确实是
你觉得？
可是这个
哪里好笑？
因为老陈比较克他，
不是很可爱吗？我感觉
就是他那个嘴有一个形状特别像龟，
啾咪，
很逗。
你受不了这个，原来你受不了这个调调，懂了。好，那我们这边的工作人员把我们的道具也是搬上来了啊。接下来的话呢，我们这边是倒数第3名就直接踩指压板，然后倒数第2名是踩指压板并且抽取蓝黄2个颜色球，倒数第1名的话呢是踩指压板并且抽取3个颜色的球。就我们这边球里面是代表了一个动作。就是你在这个过程当中，你需要做一些动作在这个指压板上。
做动作是吧？
是的，这指压板是可以分开的吧？
那完了，我知道了，红色的肯定是什么爆炸。
这个是不是轮流来啊？
你要不要先上去踩一下？你上次也没踩过。
不需要
轮流来。
说为什么要踩？
不是你明白？你体验一下嘛。对啊。
我可能永远不想试，
他不想试。
你第几名？
你来吧，你是
第3名，我试。
我为什么要试啊？
你是到第3人，
不是主持人不参与这个环节，
主持人是不参与。但是呢，
高。
主持人如果说想更好的给观众介绍这个东西的体验，他一定要自己尝试过，这样有了自己的亲身经历，他的这个东西才有说服力。所以说来吧，对吧？要不然你对吧？我来了，
谁是第3上？
哎，你跟我说一下，我主持人第1轮拿了第1，
按理说不应该。
按理说我肯定跟我没关系啊。
对，
这个跟他没关系。
对呀，
那就是除了你之外，
除了我之外的第3名。
3兄弟，
第3名是
对啊，3兄弟啊。
分数
来吧，
你们3兄弟啊？
是吗？
他们9分。
对啊。对，他们俩9分，
你是6分，我是4分，那是3分。
我一直在喝水上吧。
我今天就是你们的
麦德倒数第3小哥，麦德倒数第3的话直接踩上去。来抽一块，这应该是可以分开的吧？
我要拖鞋吗？
它应该不是一块吧？
一起踩啊？
是一起踩到上面的。
这穿鞋踩还是
要拖鞋？
那先上吧，第3名。
还有穿鞋踩？
那我先。
而且这是我们工作人员说是加强版的，
升级的。
到现在为止
要踩多久啊？
你先踩上去吧。
这是有个
什么意思？
有个学名啊，叫什么小竹笋，是不是？
我们3个人
听说是没有人能在上面真正意义上站着。
我不信，
我不信，麦子就可以。
不信的试试。
麦子开始演了，开始你的表演。
不是，
麦德，你想一想，刚刚看 看刚刚看这个视频多搞笑，
多欢乐啊！
你就看他们两在那唱歌，哎，我
这么痛吗？
让麦德含口水，
或者来。你们唱那歌什么？你要跳舞吗？跳一段，
站上去了，
好像
脚
跟还好吧？站定还好，
还行是吧？
脚跟。
不是你那样没有用的，
一会儿你也要这样，
你是这样，
是吧？
你完了，哎，
就跟洗脚的时候把他的脚在热水里面晃一样。
你们两个一会儿享受一下我的那个马杀鸡。
我不上，
所以说第三名踩上去完了，
还要拿
就完了。
他第3名不用拿，
我走了，可以了。不是，
我工作人员跟我说一下，你说所有人3个人全部站上去吗？
我要踩多久啊？
好，第3名可以走了，你也可以走了。
你就体验一下嘛，
体验一下吧。
这就
来，
有这么夸张吗？
来，倒数积分倒数第2名踩甲板，并且抽蓝跟黄2面色球。
有点反人类了。
我以为是
这就是我想看的。来，大一些，给他球。
刚要让我和 A 看这个，我就输了，因为没有这个效果太好。
我直接一脚以为跟上赛季应该差不多，这个差太多了。
一脚油门就踩特色，
快点，受
不是，
不了。
其实2个脚上去是真的。
把球拿了不给的，
快点，
他抽2次，
不是受不了。
他要抽几个？
他要抽几个来着？
不知道，问你是这样，
好像是2，
是2吗？
是2。
哎呀，脑不清
哦，你赶紧给他2个，他抽2，他抽那个蓝跟黄2个颜色的球。
我抽2个球吗？
抽2个球，抽了打开。
然后呢？
我先来个蓝，
先来一个蓝的。
蓝色是动作球，黄色是次数球。
哦，来我们这儿工作人
黄色不是大师球吗？
黄色搞一个什么999次仰卧起，
蹲起10个。
没有10个，就蹲起。
你看是不是蹲起10个？
你还有蹲起，
你这个人有问题。
黄色是次数呀，
对啊，
动作黄色是次数呀。
不知道，先打开再说吧。
哎，然后一看里面是999个。
我跟你说10个呀，
哎，最多10个。2个，来蹲起啊，标准
那不是11吗？
哎，对啊，11。啊！你给大家展示一下，你给观众展示一下，
别闹，
是11，
这个真的受不了。
对，
这不是镜头呢？
应该是2，11有点过分了。
哇，这个巨爽，兄弟们！
可以，
下不来了是吧？
哎呀，很期待阿史啊！来，
我懂。
阿史踩甲板，并且要抽取3个颜色的球，就是这个红的、黄的，还有蓝的。
哦，这个甲板我这辈子不想再来第2次了。
主角。
看了我感觉确实，
确实有点东西。
你把2个鞋都脱了再上去，
这个这个确实有点东西了。
真的吗？没事的呀。怎么了？怎么
慢点，3个球是吧？快
3个球
，3个球。快点！哎呦，我不是这个真屌。
什么？我们看这个不就完了吗？出来了 ，A 不行了。
3个球，3个颜色的啊！
我像网球发球一样，先藏裤兜里。
哇，很淡定。
这个看到吗？这我
你自己猜，
是不是应该先抽完然后再踩的？哎呦，这个东西真
什么？
红色双倍卡，
双倍，已经双倍了。
对，就惩罚翻倍。
然后那边另外还有，
你先开蓝后开黄吧，蓝是动作，黄是次数。
对的。哦，看看啊。 这个你让他迈1步，他直接就原地不行了。
我不信，真你敢迈？
受不了了！快点，快点！
动作是什么？
你们看，
高抬腿。
哎，我们高抬腿，双脚算1次，
就是左脚1次，右脚1次算1次。
受不了了！快点，两次
啊，4倍，就是4次高抬腿，
就是左脚1次，右脚算1次。
那就是左脚
算1次吧？对啊，左右各一脚算1次。
怎么这个真的受不了，兄弟们，我一点不
高抬腿。
1次了，
一共4次，
这不是0.5次
，0.5，
对，多少
？1。
啊，这个真的厉害
，1.5。
里面还有个球，真烦。
网球。
2次。2.5，
腿在抖。
你仔细看，手也在抖。
当年结婚都没被这么闹过是吧
？2.5。
3.5。
不忍心看，
最后一下啊，
好惨啊。
OK，
牛的，
好，可以。
哦，这个真的，
这个真的那么难受吗？
这个真的，这样试一下。
这样吧，我们3个没有踩的，一人上去感受一下，感同身受一下吧，
感受吧，
真的可以感受一下，很舒服。
感受完你们要跪下来膜拜我，你知道吧？
不是，主要他有准备了，我以为跟上赛季差不多。 我一脚就迈上去了。我跟你说，
不是啊，这个感受不能这么感受。
哎，是2秒就受不了了。是，
确实有点东西啊，
确实有点东西。来，
哎
呦，叫出鸭子叫了！
哎，不是这东西买得到是我们导播厉害了。
哎，一起，两人一起吧，
一起。
谁坚持时间长，谁有奖励，好不好？哎，这样吧，因为我们刚刚上一个回合不是没有决出冠军嘛？你们2个人谁在上面站的时间久，
是
谁把我们最后的那个奖励拿走
？PK 一下是吧？
哥2题
，PK 一下是吧？
是
赢了。
这人太烂，你这人也太烂了，
这人真的玩不了啊！
这跟这人玩游戏真没劲儿啊！这你赢了，
不是你是不是有点不太好啊？
我是兄弟们，这种真的
哇！
我能站1小时，
你2脚都上来。快点！
不是我自己别动，不是
太强了吧？
福瑞干这个人，
他这个人
笑又笑不出来，踩这个都没感觉，多半是
面部神经坏。
你是不是丧尸啊？
对，太对了，哥，你在这边再走2步，再走2步，再走2步，
他赢了，
没有，真的这么可怕啊？
真的是丧尸啊！
他赢了，
这个没有。
你家地板铺的是
没有。
你是僵尸吗？
没有感了，不，你再大跳一下，来，
那不行，有感的，但我能忍。
哦，这人就是面部神经坏死，脚底板神经坏死，
看不懂。
好，福瑞干拿所有的奖品啊！
应该干得
太强了，
真的牛，
太强了，
真的有点疼，但可以忍呀。不是啊，那
哎呀，大家赶紧回忆一下，我跟你讲，你们赶紧回忆一下，平时有没有问菲尔干借过钱，或者有没有得罪过他？就这种人太可怕了，我跟你讲，真的，就你得罪这个人，你哪一天指不定就被套个麻袋。
我忍痛能力非常强，就是痛也是痛，但我可以不表示。
太强了，真的啊！
所以一定要问他借钱，他就忍好久。
你这个角度也还可以啊。
可以。
来 A 哥，你别在这坐着，你站上来。
你就踩了2秒就。
好，那我们这边的话呢，也是恭喜啊，这个菲尔干通过这个总积分第1，并且以超强人的这个忍耐能力啊，获得我们今天总积分的第1名。恭喜！同时，我们今天的话会有一个奖品啊，给到你，就是看你这个平时身体应该
挺虚的，
可以补啊，这么工作人员拿
补维生素是吧？
啊，全给。
恭喜菲尔干获得了这个超级饮料套餐。